pigs and racist society. Goddamn chance. Kill him! Kill! I want peace. You want peace. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. It's a wonderful Oh, hey. I just happened to get a text right now. Right at this very moment. From my brother. Oh, that's badass. He just texted me Black Sabbath The End World Tour. I guess the graphic for it. It's pretty cool. The skull. Looks like Death holding some fucking nuclear bombs or some shit. Anyway, how are y'all doing? I put this on vibrate. It's been a lovely couple of weeks. Hope you guys had a great fucking holiday and, New Year's celebration. Welcome to 2019. We're here. We're there. And we're everywhere. Because time does not exist. And time and space are part of the same thing. I don't know. getting a little deep here right now, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. So, this week on the podcast, I had the pleasure of having a guy back on that I had on probably a year and a half ago now, who ended up becoming the sponsor of the podcast. And he's a fucking badass dude. Really awesome guy. Sweet motherfucker. I can't wait to meet him and shake his hand and give him a hug. For everything that he's done for me, encouragement wise, support, whether it be a text or monetarily. This guy is the shit. I can't say enough good things about him because he's only done cool things for me so far in this life. So I hope you guys enjoy this conversation. And if you ever in Moab, Utah, and you happen to run into this motherfucker, tell him I said hi and that I love him. This week's podcast is sponsored by the one and only Hike Moab, with the owner and guide, that's in quotations, aka hiker taker with her, Micah Hatcher. You guys can go there. You can go on his website, moabhiking.com. Under the code OneByOne. Get a little discount for that ass. Because, a good fucking guide, it ain't that cheap. He's not just going around letting you look at the places as you walk by things. He's actually telling you shit. He knows his history about the place. And he's a really fucking great storyteller. So, you pay for the experience. That's what you do. Besides the fact that they fucking film Westworld and a whole bunch of other crap out there, this place sounds great, and I want to fucking... As soon as I have the ability to take a vacation out there and go on one of these hikes, you better believe I'm going to fucking do it, and I'm not even going to use my own code, okay? I'm not. I'm going to pay him full price, and I'm going to fucking give him a nice tip. Gratuity counts. You know what I'm saying? But get at him. Get at this motherfucker. He's only building and building and building, and he's looking to eventually have a storefront for Hike Moab. So, what would be fucking cooler? You know what I'm saying? But until then, he's doing his thing, and he's going to continue to do his motherfucking thing, and I'm just really happy to have him on board with me and to be able to spread the news about him. So, without further waiting, without making you guys wait any longer, please give it up for my friend and our sponsor, Micah Hatcher.
What's up, man?
You.
What's shaking?
My nuts, dude. They're fucking shriveled and to the left.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Is it that cold there?
Yeah, well, they're shriveled. Something else is to the left. But, yeah, it is fucking... It got cold here, dude.
Oh, right on. It dropped a little bit for us, but we're only hovering during the day about 34, so I can handle that.
Yeah.
Right, are we live now?
Yeah, we're good. Well, we're recording. I'm not to the stage of liveness or the video shit. I want to get to that point, dude. But it's just I don't know. I feel weird. I think I should do it and have try to do the Skype recording thing and have the two boxes, But I just got to look into all that shit and figure out how to do it. Because I want to do it right if I do it. And I'd have to
Oh,
get, like...
yeah.
I think I'd have to get, like... I forget what the fuck the program was called. It's like the logic of the visual for Mac.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's coming soon.
Yeah,
Eventually you will be
I
on
don't know.
it, dude, because you're like a fucking superstar on fucking on Periscope.
I hadn't really been doing a whole lot of Periscope here lately, man. It got a little too right-wing crazy for me, and I went on there, and I saw some of the other stuff that people were doing, and there was just so much right-wing bullshit of people.
No, Jesus.
Yeah, it got really crazy, and then that became Alex Jones' last safe haven.
Oh,
For a
really?
little while. Yeah, I think he was off there, and it just had a weird. And man, dude. I would go in that shit, and I can only listen to so much bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
you find yourself commenting back when you just see some of this stuff, and then I had a couple of those people jump into some of mine and just you can block them real easy. But some of these trolls on there, dude, all that means is they're not going to be there for 15 seconds because they've already got a backup account.
Yeah.
And they go and it got a little bit nuts. I plan on doing it again, and we're going to get back to the videos. I just got so busy. And when you get out of the habit of doing that stuff, it kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. But it was fun, and I enjoy doing the videos and stuff. But now I find myself so much busier these days, I really got to pick what I'm doing.
Yeah, I hear you, man. all the different shit going on in everybody's life. It's hard to fucking pick something and make that your goal, but
Oh
that's what you gotta do.
I did that one podcast, and I thought I wanted to do it, but then I got to thinking about it. And if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And I know that we'll be on the phone for a couple of hours, however long we go, and then you're going to have another 4 or 5 hours of fucking with this thing. Later, going through the edit and everything else, and then putting it all together, and man, just a lot of work. And if you're gonna do something, you need to go all the way with it. So,
Yeah, that's why it's different. Like with me, I started out and I do it by myself, but with like Lee had said that he's gonna start doing like podcast consulting and shit and help people start their own kind of podcast thing. And I think that'll help a lot of motherfuckers get off their feet and be able to just, get to the point where you were just recording it and that would be the only thing you'd have to worry about was the edit process afterwards, Because the hard thing for me when I first started was like learning how to like put it on Libsyn and then connect your RSS feed to that, and so that it goes to the iTunes store and everything else. And
oh sure,
it gets a little confusing and shit. But I could see how it gets a little time consuming too.
Oh yeah, well, and it was just, if I was gonna do it, I was gonna do it right, and I was gonna put the attention to it. But then I was really going with the videos and then the live streaming and all of that shit I started so I could get to a point that I have my own hiking company. And it was, call it whatever it is. It was just going to be publicity. I really enjoy it. The majority of the entertainment I have in my life is podcasts.
Yeah.
So to join that and, maybe one day visit it once things slow down a little bit. But if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it right. So
Eventually, one day, dude,
Oh yeah, we'll see. I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. If I can incorporate those things, and that's what I was going to do then, and that's what we'll get back to. The thing that always happened on Periscope for me was all the history here. I'm such a history buff that when I'm talking about anything, I'm going to bring that to it. So in 2019, we've been recording. I'm going to put out some videos. It's more the history side of things,
Sounds cool.
The visual of this place is just so breathtaking anyway. Anybody can hold up a video and show something cool that most people haven't seen. But to give the history of how the people survived here and what brought it to the place that it is now, to incorporate that'll be fun.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you do that kind of shit? Like, do you talk about stuff like that on your hikes and stuff when you're giving people?
Oh, yeah, man. That's what you're getting with a guide. I mean, you're getting the history. I go all the way from to the Anasazi that did most of the rock art that's in the area. That's about 1,200 years ago. And then taking it back to the Archaic period, when you had those people that were the first Cro-Magnons roaming the earth. There's some of their rock art here, and talk, but there's not much known about those folks. We just know about their rock art. The Anasazi we have a better idea about. Then you go to the most recent that were here when the European settlers showed up. Then you get into the pioneer stuff and all the Mormon pioneer stuff in the state of Utah. Then you can take it right into Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. This was like their last holdout. Yeah, so it's all...
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, where you really get them, the reason this place looks the way it does is the Colorado Plateau, of which I'm in the northern side of. Over 320 million years, that was an inland ocean that's filled and evaporated a total of 29 times. So the last time it evaporated was about 112 million years ago, and that was the crust that was here when the dinosaurs were on the earth. So, yeah, tell them the story about that, and you're driving down a dirt road, and and they know where they're going. They know what kind of tour they're getting. Yeah. But then you jump them out of the car, and I show them, a big lizard print in a green rock that, it looks like the only thing you could put it into your head that you've ever imagined to be like that was a dragon or some shit. I mean, it's wild stuff.
One of the reasons why they probably filmed Westworld down there, you know what I'm saying? They saw the fucking feet.
They hadn't got into that part of it. The reason they filmed Westworld here is because this was the oldest location association there is. Whenever they first started, Hollywood came into its own in the cowboy day when they were doing all the westerns and stuff like that. The director John Ford discovered this area. He's the guy that did a whole bunch of John Wayne movies, and he's if not the western director from that era. He's the guy. He was the director. Mm-hmm. And he loved this area. Like the big monument that I post on my Instagram all the time that's right beside my house. It's my view every day. Yeah. That's one of the symbols of the Southwest. That when people get an idea of the Southwest, like from anywhere in the world, when they read about the cowboys and shit, that's one of the things that's burned into the collective mind, because that's how Hollywood portrayed it.
Yeah,
so,
fucking nuts.
I mean,
that's your fucking backyard.
Literally. Literally, that's where I go and walk my dogs and stuff like that. So it's real neat for a guy from Northwest Florida to be out here doing this. It's like, calling it vacation every day would be not really giving it enough credit. It's more than all that. It's just keeps the curiosity peaked. I've got all the history you can study that you could even, you got to pick where you want to go, because you're never going to see it all. It's such a just massive area.
Hell yeah, dude. So, well, you got to tell me before we go any further, how's your head doing?
Oh, I've got a nice T-shaped scar that this paper-thin hair I have at 45 years old is, I think I'm going to make the jump to the shaved head on the next haircut.
Yeah.
There. So, yeah, that was ridiculous, man.
What the hell happened? You were out, you weren't hiking, you were riding a bike, right?
No, I was going to buy a fucking bicycle. I was, the bike I have is pretty old. I'm friends with, all the different guys that are in the bike shops and stuff like that around here. I was going around to see what I wanted, stopped in this one place. After I had literally, Mike, I was not 2 hours before, I took a group of 4 people, climbed up on top of a fen, that's what they call some of the rock structures out here, showed them some Anasazi ruins, and not only put myself in danger, but had these people, and then I come walking out of a bike shop, had my head down, and they keep most of their shuttle rigs in their parking lot. So I park, it's right in front of a grocery store. I park in the grocery store parking lot and just walk down the little alley there. And they had built onto the building, and a fascia or something had fallen off, and I took a step on a fucking curb, and the truss was hanging out of the building. It was only 5 feet off the ground, so when I stepped in the truss, I just stepped right into it, man. Dude, it sucked.
That was a nice gash, dude. I was like, holy shit, did he do that on, I thought you were on the bike and fell, had a bike crash.
I think in the text I sent, buying a bike is dangerous or something like that. That's where you get the bike thing from. But yeah, I was going to buy a bicycle.
Wow.
And that happened. It was just kind of one of those freak things. I know why there's building codes though, man. They had built this extension on to have a place where people they rent a bunch of mountain bikes. So that's one of the big tourist attractions here. It's a mountain bike mecca, and they're one of the bigger bike shops in town. So they have this spot that they built like a little bathroom, like outdoor showers that people can go in there and get a shower after they go riding and clean up a little bit before they go to their campsite or whatever. So the truss was hanging out of the building. Only like it wasn't to code. It's supposed to be 10 feet off of the ground, but it was only like 7 feet. So when you stepped up on the curb, it's only 5 feet. Well, I'm 5'10", so I just busted right into it. It was the most dramatic, dude. It got me.
Yeah. What the hell was it? Like just metal? What the fuck is a truss?
No, it was a 2x4 that was hanging out, and I just hit it perfectly in the point. Whenever I stood up, it just split. Dude, inside the hat, thank God I was wearing a hat. If I'd have had my cowboy hat on, I wouldn't have, that's a big old hat. You got plenty of room. It would have just knocked my head back. But I had a big trucker hat or something on. Just got out of the tour. And dude, there was like blood splattered inside the hat. But as soon as it happened, it kind of rung my bell a little bit. And I don't know how many times you've been hit hard in the head. I've been hit hard in the head many, many times from accidents and all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. But it kind of saw stars for a second, put my hand on it, and I was like, dang, that's going to leave a bump. And then I felt it was wet, and I'm like, oh, no.
That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, well, have you ever split your head open or anything like that?
No, not
head
personally.
Wounds, bleed like a stuck pig. That's why the wrestling guys back in the day, they could take just a hairline cut with a little razor blade on the forehead.
Yeah. And then tape it.
Dudes hit them in the head, and it just splits your head. You just bleed. It's so dramatic, but it was a busy day. My truck's right there. I walk up to my truck. I open it up, and I've got a extra shirt or something like that in my backpack. I'm looking for that. I've got blood now pouring all in my eyes. I'm having to wipe it out of my face. A lady comes up like, sir, are you okay? I look at her. She goes, oh. Like, no, I'm fine. She's like, do you want me to call an ambulance? I'm like, hell no, man. I just need to find this shirt, and I'm going to drive myself to the hospital. Yeah. She's like, I don't know if you should drive. You've taken a pretty good lick there. And I got
you bitch, I'm on a Cyclops this shit.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I felt about it. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? You're right. And I just got a new truck. We had to get another vehicle for the business for the other guys we have to drive my rig that I've had forever. But just got a new truck. I mean, it's only, 5 weeks old. Country Cadillac. Got a nice pickup truck for the clients and stuff like that. Got them riding in style with the air-conditioned seats and stuff.
Nice.
Look inside that nice new truck. And I'm like, I cannot get in there bleeding like this. So, like, yeah. It's like, no, don't call an ambulance. I'm going to walk back in because I was in there for 30 minutes. Until I was friends with everybody that works there. So we were just hanging out and bullshitting and walked back in, and the manager of the store was walking on. She saw him, and I've literally been talking to her 2 or 3 minutes before that. She's like, oh, my God, what happened to you? Wow. Like, I hit my head on this thing. And then she gave me a ride to the hospital. But, yeah, it was drama, man, and I knew it was going to be that way. As soon as I felt my head, it felt like it was water, or it was just wet. Like, this is going to be too much, man. Just in a crowded parking lot, bleeding like a stuck pig. People are going to try and do the right thing. What I really need to do is kind of get out of the way.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Damn, well, I'm glad you're all right, dude, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, me too. And it split it pretty good. It was 11 staples to close it up.
Damn.
But I didn't, I was worried about getting a concussion. Getting a concussion, that can mess with you getting a concussion can mess with you forever. Yeah. You might not ever be the same again. And I've already had a couple of those, and it's been a long time since I got one. So that's what I was really worried about. Yeah, if I start getting my equilibrium off and all that, that would change everything for me.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. My younger brother was in a car accident. This is like 14 years ago now, actually. And he cracked his skull open and fucking all that shit. I'm guessing that's like a huge fucking concussion when you do that.
Oh, yeah. When you split your skull open, that's beyond concussion, because concussed is where you shake your brain around and bruise your brain inside the skull, right?
Yeah.
So when you go splitting the cranium open, that's a totally different ball of wax. I mean, I'm sure your brain is concussed as well.
Yeah, but it's like also
It's-
fucking squished and like
well, there's some
whatever.
fluids you don't ever need to exactly break open in your skull there. Is he okay and everything now? Or?
Yeah, he's been fine like for a long time now. I mean, right after it got done, it was a while before he like healed up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He had to actually wait a little while and then go back and get like the whole front of his top of his skull like redone, like this,
Oh, wow.
this putty stuff in it and everything. But like
Yeah.
he had like shards of bone like in his skull. They had to pick out, you know. It was not
Wow.
fucking not a cool 1 a.m. in the morning
Oh,
phone
no,
call,
just-
you know.
Yeah, and getting injured like that, it's such a scary thing for the person involved, first and foremost, but for the family and everything else, it's such a traumatic thing.
It was crazy, man. We were all like, I was like 45 minutes away because
Hmm.
they live down closer to Atlantic City from where I am, and my parents actually went to the scene of the accident, and they had to fly him to the hospital from there, and they beat the fucking helicopter in their car.
That
Somehow.
happens
I don't know how.
about no, not somehow. That shit, it takes forever because I don't want to. Not trying to like take over the story or anything like that, but when I got in that accident, I talked about the last time I was on the podcast when I broke my neck.
Yep.
It was the same thing. My parents came to the hospital, then they had to transfer me to a specialist at another hospital about 2.5 hours away, and my parents got there 20 minutes before the helicopter arrived.
Wow.
So
I guess they don't really go that fast up in there.
now, once they get up in the air, they go fast as hell. But I think maybe medevacs, they go, it's not, they're not going to go full bore because they have an injured person and all that stuff matters whenever you're moving somebody critically injured. But it's the whole going up and then navigating and being able to land and all that stuff. So
Yeah, imagine. That's fucking nuts, dude. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad both of you motherfuckers are both all right.
Oh yeah. It's
Concussions aren't
amazing.
nothing to fuck with. They're like Wu-Tang Clan, dude.
Oh, car accidents? Fuck
No, I mean concussions in general.
Oh no. That ain't nothing you want in your life. But there's so many people and they know so much more about it. And shit, just the stuff I've heard on Rogan's podcast that had me looking into it more and these different athletes and stuff like that. And we all have these little pocket brains or brains in our pocket that we can just pull out and find out any information. It's crazy. Like high school athletics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
football, dude. My youngest brother was a football player. Just crashing his head into motherfuckers all the time.
Yeah, and it kind of explains why the jocks are so aggro in high school. You know what I mean? They're just going and beating the hell out of each other 5 days a week, and then they come to school the next day, and all that. It makes a little more sense. I mean, I was
sad.
yeah, it's real sad. But I didn't worry about those people too much. I was a skater and surfer and that sort of thing in high school, so jocks didn't come to where we hung out too much.
No, me either.
Yeah, and we were known to pick up our skateboards towards people if they did come and fuck with us. So they had to come looking for us. They came there,
Yeah, get our little fucking hacky sacks and act like we're going to throw it at them.
Oh, yeah, wearing the anorak with a long flowing hair. The only time I ever had good long hair was in high school. After that, it just got ratty.
Yeah. I ended up cutting mine, dude, like a couple months ago. September.
Yeah. Okay, so it's fully short now, huh?
Yeah, it's all short, like fucking not past my shoulders at all. Dude, I gotta wear like I gotta put product in that shit in order to keep it down, dude. It's like so froey. It's ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like it's just I don't know. Maybe I just don't use the right shampoo and conditioner. But
I don't know. If I had
maybe
froey hair, dude, I got baby fine hair that's like super, super thin. It always was, but dude, if I could grow a fro, I'd have a fro.
it's not
My
froey
entire
like yeah, I wish I had a fro like fucking like the curly fro, but mine's just like straight hair fro. It's like what the fuck? Like I can't
gotcha.
like one of the reasons why I had it long for so fucking long was because I had to grow it out to a certain length in order for it to not like stick up in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, if I just let it go without any product, and I like fell asleep and woke up in the morning and just, you know,
Standing straight
stood
up.
there, I would look like that dude from fucking the History Channel. What's his name?
Ancient Aliens?
Yeah, the Ancient Aliens, dude.
What is his name? I never say his name right. It's one of some. I think it's Greek or something like that.
I know. I never say it right either. But yeah, it would look. It's like fucking Einstein, young Einstein.
Oh yeah.
Can't do it,
well,
dude. That's why I was close to shaving it too as well. But my girlfriend was like, "No, don't do that."
Yeah, I think my wife has just given up on that. I wear a hat. Once I walk outside, I'm pretty much wearing a hat. It's rare that I'll even go. Not that I go out to eat very much, but when we do, a lot of times I'm still wearing a hat. She's just given up, so I can just shave it, whatever.
You gotta start wearing them fucking cowboy hats so you don't get fucking hit in the head again.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I adopted those recently. I mean, it's kind of funny when I go and pick people up and I've got all this gear on and all that, and I got a cowboy hat. They assume that I'm a descendant from the pioneer families that are here because that's kind of part of the charm of the town. Like, nope, I'm from Florida. I grew up in a swamp.
Sorry about
Ready
your luck.
to go? But when I got the cowboy hat, that really knocks it home. But I got to tell you, there's a reason those things are shaped that way. As a guy that spends his time in the sunlight every day of the year, they're on to something. Those things work better than any other kind of sun hat I've ever had.
Yeah. I have the only cowboy hat I kind of have is the one that came with my Freddy Krueger costume. It's the only one I'll wear.
Right on, Freddy Krueger costume. I haven't seen that photo.
I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't think I have a photo online of that one, but I still have the hat. My friend fucking broke. He walked up to me at the fucking party we're at, and you know it was a plastic glove, like the knife part was just plastic. He walked up and I had my hand out for some reason. It was just standing there. And he grabbed my index finger knife and just pink and cracked it right off. I was like, what the fuck was that, dude? I was like, this is my Halloween costume, motherfucker. He wasn't even dressed. I was like, oh my God.
Hating on the people that did. It takes a lot of balls to walk into a costume as an adult, a costume party dressed up as an adult.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was like 6 years ago, but I was still definitely over 30, so.
Mm-hmm.
Why? When was the last time you went to a fucking Halloween party dressed up? Ever?
It's been quite a while. Oh, yeah. No, man, I have. My wife is we're a small town, and they used to have they have all kinds of different jamborees here, and there's a really active Pride Festival that they've had for years and years, and we were one of the first small town communities, and it was the first small township that ever recognized same-sex marriage. So there's a very strong pride group that's here in town. And my wife was a fashion designer. They do all these, it goes on for like 10 days. And she got into being a fashion designer. They do a trashing show where they go to like thrift stores, and then they have certain themes, and the designers will like do all this, they'll take like nothing and just make these wild, like one year was Road Warrior theme and just all this crazy stuff.
That's
but
cool.
She's real creative and an artist. So I went as a unicorn, and I won the costume contest, first prize. I'll send
awesome.
I got a photo of it. It wasn't even that long ago. It was probably 4 years ago or so. And it was pretty funny. I had it was sort of a yarn she did for the tail and did the things, and then I had a unicorn hat or a mask that I put on top of my head. I think what really drove it home when I got in the contest, I think I worked the door that night, and I pretty much sat out there. It was cold because we're got high elevation here, and I pretty much drank Jameson for about the first 4 hours of being there. Probably averaging one Jameson on the rocks about every 15 minutes. So by the time I got in, she made a tail that was hanging off the back of my pants, and she made these hooves. So I would do my hooves up, just wasted in kind of boxer type stance, and turn around and shake the tail For That's what really sent it home. That's why I won it. I think we got $100 gift card from the restaurant and a hearty round of applause. It was a good time.
You said you were watching the door?
Yeah, it was a restaurant that I actually managed several years ago here in town.
Yeah.
And I went and worked it. No, it wasn't. It was the crowd that voted for me. It wasn't the restaurant. Wasn't why I won it. I was so drunk working the door. They said you should probably go ahead and have the rest of the night off.
Yeah, I bet. You're dressed like a fucking unicorn, dude.
Oh, they thought that was hilarious, man. The guy that owns the place. One of the reasons I worked there, I kind of ran it. I've ran bars forever, dude. I grew up working in bars and restaurants and that sort of thing. And when you grow up in that type of environment, for 30 years, you've seen all the bullshit go down anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of dressed up like a unicorn because I thought it could be, what is the biggest wussy? You walk around there throwing people out all year round. I was thinking, what is the most girly thing I can dress up as and still pull off masculine? A unicorn won it.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
we went to a one this year. What's that?
I'll send you a photo of it. It's a funny ass costume.
Yeah, if you have it readily available, send it. I'll try to use that for the podcast photo.
Oh, right on.
No, then you can't see your face though, unless you got the head off. You got
one with the head you off? Can see the face. No, I made it so you can still see the face. I have to keep the beard there going,
That's awesome. Yeah, we went to we had a costume party to go to, and we didn't get our costumes that we ordered for Halloween in time for it because it was like an earlier, party. It was like the 24th or something like that. Anyway, so she went out and she just got like a couple like different like little costumes. So she got a unicorn for herself. It was like just like those heads. It's like a mask that's like kind of like pillow kind of ish, And then
I think I had something similar to that.
You know what she got me?
What's that?
Fucking poop emoji.
Oh, what? The poop emoji?
Yeah. Dude, it was the fucking... Dude, I was just making funny comments all night, like, as a piece of shit,
Oh, sure.
And I didn't take the thing off.
You was the shit at the party that night.
I was the shit at the party. I was like, damn, I see what you think of me.
That's probably exactly why she did it. How was Christmas with the family this year? Your son's old enough to have a good time during Christmas.
Good, dude. Thank you very much for asking, man. He still doesn't know exactly who Santa is, but he can open some presents like a little mofo,
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, that's the fun part, man. They have as much fun tearing open the paper. And
yeah.
The toys are kind of the second thought right now. It's just all that magical. Like, next year, he'll know exactly who Santa is.
Yeah.
By the time he's 5, he's going to have a list for homeboy. You're like, all right, dude, I know what's up here. I go see you, and then I get stuff in a few days.
Yep.
I'm don't let him call the White House until he knows.
Yeah. I remember those days when I was little, just like, my mom would give us the fucking JCPenney catalog or whatever the hell. She's like, all right, pick out a couple toys out of here. We'd circle a shitload of shit.
Oh, yeah. We always bent the pages, man. It was, I was a materialistic little fucker when I was a little kid, man. I wanted all the latest toys. But, man, in the 80s, we had G.I. Joe and Transformers, all the shit they're making movies about these days. That's what we played with.
I know. Isn't it crazy, man? And
oh, it's way crazy.
What was the, have you seen Bumblebee?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
I kind of do want to see that, because they did finally went back and made him like the old Volkswagen,
Oh, right on.
I don't know if you have seen the trailer for it or not, but they fucking...
I think I've seen something.
It was funny. The one trailer I saw, they were like egging somebody's house and getting Bumblebee to help him. He ended up fucking stomping on the car.
Yeah, it's funny. I watch all that shit. I love the action movies and Avengers and all the Marvel comics.
Yeah, it's just hard to consume them nowadays. There's like hardly any time to go out and see them now. I've been watching a lot of them on iTunes, just like on bathroom breaks, whatever. Like I'll watch like 10 minutes, 15 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
And you know what it does for me, dude? I don't know if you've ever done that, like just watched a movie in little bursts, but it kind of turns it into
I
like a
have.
book. Like you know how
Oh,
you
sure.
read when you read a book and you put it down and you're like thinking about it for a while before you pick it back up and shit.
Oh, sure.
That's what it did for me. I was watching Ready Player One, and I'm like a third of the way or three-quarters of the way through.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, man. It was good. I'm listening to the book now. I downloaded that on Audible because I saw the movie. I saw it, I guess, when it first came out. You can get it on Netflix or whatever, Amazon or something like that. We watched it. My wife had read the book,
Yeah,
and she really enjoyed the book. And, as far as it's the age that we grew up,
yeah,
that time period.
yeah.
And read or at least listen to the Audible or read the book, however you consume books, but it's going all into the detail. That's an interesting story. They really created a new universe and all this stuff.
Yeah, the what is it called? The Oasis or something?
The Oasis, yeah, where they go in, and it makes sense. And I don't think we're too far from it now.
Nah.
Like, I think right about the time that they're holding it in, I think we're going to be pretty close to that.
Yeah, it's scary, dude. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, just seeing all the fucked up shit that happened in there and what what could happen, you know?
Well, it's already happening in a lot of ways, man. There's people, my little brother, now don't get me wrong, I love information. I love the internet. I love ordering shit and just everything that's available today. I really dig that. But my little brother, who's 9 years younger than me, he was 10 or 11 years old when I was already out of the house. He was 10 or 11 years old whenever they got a computer that was online back then. And that kid, that's who he was. I mean, he had more of a social life online than he ever had. And it was just playing RPGs where they're basically just typing stuff in. And he had friends from all over the world like that way back in the day with dial-up connections and stuff like that. And it's only progressed since then. And he's still a massive gamer and plays all these massive games. And that is his social life, and he really dude, I was going to raves and parties and throwing raves and parties and having a good time. But that kid, his social life and pretty much his life has been lived online. He's got a wife and kids and everything, jobs and all that stuff now. But high school and 20s and stuff, his life was online.
Yeah, dude. It's one of my youngest brother. He's big into like all that shit. The Xbox Live. He was playing fucking Call of Duty with a lot of people. I feel bad because I don't feel bad, but I got him. Me and my brother got him into playing video games back when like 007 was out on Nintendo 64. That was my
Oh
shit
yeah,
right there.
yeah, I played it.
But ever since then, he's been into those kind of games. So he went from Call of Duty to now he's on Fortnite. That's a real big one right now.
I've heard about it. I don't know exactly what it is, but
It's a pretty crazy game, dude. You drop into this island. 100 people, I think, are in each game, and it's like kind of like 007, how it's like the first person shooter thing. But you go through the whole board and you have to survive all 100 people or whatever, I guess. But you get all these different like weapons and you can build fucking buildings. But the way that they build buildings, it's like all fast and shit. Like, do you ever play Call of Duty, like the Nazi zombie games and shit?
No, that was that. All that
little
shit started
little
getting way too immersive.
Yeah, that was it.
And back then, whenever those started getting really big, I working in restaurants, especially in the management end. By that time, I was working 100 hours a week.
Yeah, time
and
for that
stuff
shit.
like that. So yeah, I think the last video game my brother gave me a hand-me-down. What was that machine? I think it was a PlayStation 2, maybe.
Okay.
PlayStation 3, and I went and bought Tony Hawk because I played the hell out of some Tony Hawk. That was a fun game, and that's about where I got off. I've actually been thinking about getting an Xbox or something for Red Dead Redemption. I've heard a lot
the
of
second
cool
one
things
I heard.
about that.
Yeah. I heard that second one was pretty good. All those Rockstar games are the shit, dude. Fucking
Yeah, I played a few of those. The
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, the one in Miami, because that being a Florida thing. Now,
Yeah.
the part of Florida I'm from, is it is almost a different country as compared to Miami. So I'm not that kind of Florida. I'm from the swamp in the northern part. It's one of the sayings in Florida: go the further south you go, the more north you are. I'm from basically lower Alabama.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into the Miami, the one that when they're doing the thing in the 70s or 80s or whatever it is, and then the gangster one in Compton. That was fun. But I haven't gone any further as far as the rock star stuff goes. But man, their games are crazy.
I got them all on my fucking phone now, dude. They have them.
Really?
Yeah, for the iPhone, you can buy them on there. It sucks, like the controls. You know, they're just like. But I'm pretty sure that they have like controllers you can buy that are Bluetooth and they connect to your phone so that you can play the games and use like an Xbox controller. Yeah. I need to get hooked up with one of those.
What are those Theives that you can get to connect to your phone? It's like a VR rig for your phone that you can have or something like that?
They have them for the Vive?
I think so.
No shit.
I don't even know exactly what the Vive is. I just thought that somebody was telling me.
I know the Vive. I'm pretty sure the Vive was VR, just like regular VR, but I thought it was like its own thing. Like you didn't use your phone,
really?
You know. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a different version. But that's fucking cool shit, man. I tried the VR, just the phone one, so far. I haven't been able to try the Vive or there's a couple of different ones.
Yeah, I didn't take him through, but my partner did when he was still part of the business. And but he took a guy through the Fiery Furnace, which is one of the hikes and arches. It's actually the hike that we built the business off of. But he took that guy through with like a 3D camera, and they were doing it for some sort of VR thing. They were putting together some kind of thing in all the national parks they were going to do a hike where you could go, and it would be, I mean, he was there for it's only a 3-mile hike. Now, it's a 3 miles, it takes about 3 hours to do, but they were in there about 8 hours, going into different rooms and all this other stuff. Yeah, and it was for something like some sort of VR thing they were doing. So,
they just make VR experiences now. Like, that's what I think part of the future of it's going to be, dude. So people can't get to certain places,
Oh, yeah.
And just like that movie with the suits that are like so good that you can feel touch and stuff and all that, and probably heat and cold and all that shit, man. It's gonna be crazy, man. We're not gonna have no like real life connection to anybody.
I think it is going there, and I've thought a lot about this as far as like what I'm doing and where I live, and like I'm literally in the middle of nowhere. It is the most remote place in the lower 48. Of course, Alaska is more remote and all that, but you are more alone in this place than you are anywhere else in the country. I mean, it's by population density and infrastructure, there's hardly anything out here. I live in a community of about 300, and the largest town that's 30 minutes away from us, Moab, is a town of 5,000 permanent residents. During the season, it's more like a town of about 85 to 90,000 when we have the tourists here for certain months. And I don't really, besides looking stuff up online, I almost feel like I'm one of the last people that's going to be having a genuine, now what I'm doing, I'm sure there's going to be a drone that's going to come one day, and you're going to go to your Airbnb and you're going to, where do you want to go? And a little drone's going to fly up, and people are going to get in the drone, and it's going to fly them out there. So it's probably in the last days of backcountry guides. If anybody's listening, you want to strap a VR rig on me, I'll walk through some places with a camera for you.
I keep calling you, instead of guide, I say the hiker taker with her.
That's a good one, man. No, I love the intros for it, man. It's hilarious, dude. It cracks me up because we're doing it as a labor of love. We just got budgeted for putting some stuff out there, and I believe in your podcast. I believe in what you're doing. I think you're a great guy and all that stuff.
Dude,
and
I can't thank you enough, man. You're the fucking shit.
Oh, sure, man.
It's been really cool.
Yeah, well, everybody listening, Michael Klein works for very cheap. I'm not giving him a whole lot of money.
No.
But yeah, just to be a part of that, dude, and just for you to have the encouragement, because you've gotten all kinds of accolades. I mean, you're definitely do work for the big people in the industry, but it's still a labor of love for you doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just having just a little bit of encouragement doing that, man. I know that's made a difference in my life and the things that I've really gone into. Like, if it wasn't for my buddy Matt, just, hey, man, he's the one that had the idea of doing it. He's been my hiking partner. It's like, hey, I went and got all the permits. I was fine with managing a bar for the rest of my life and maybe go into owning another one or something like that one day. But that's pretty much what I was doing. He's like, hey, I pulled the permits. Go take these people for a hike for me. And then he just encouraged me to keep doing it. And 3 years later, I buy the company for him, and it's the coolest job I've ever had. I want to keep doing it. If it wasn't for that, man, shit, I don't know where I'd be. You know,
dude.
definitely.
It's a fucking crazy world, man. How shit works out, dude.
That it is, and just a little bit of encouragement. And
Yeah.
the Hawaiian guy, I really like his podcast a lot too, man. And I'm very sorry, dude. I've talked to the guy several times.
Who,
I
Eric?
forget the name of
Voices from the Planet?
Voices from the Planet. That's one. And sorry, it's the medicine.
Yeah.
Fucks with my memory.
Actually, I'm gonna have him back on probably in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, I'm gonna talk to him.
Oh,
soon.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just love that stuff out there, man. And shit, I think he's already got a sponsor or something like that. But this year, when we take it a little bit further, I'm going to branch out, and that's how we're going to advertise to the outside world, dude. Is going to be podcasting.
Yeah, dude. It's a fucking. It works, especially when you have. I mean, you have definitely fucking motivated me to keep doing it or at least try to get at least one out a week. You know, sometimes
Sure,
there's
man.
been two, but you know. Once in a while, I got to hold one back, or because it's weird
yeah.
with scheduling and shit. Like, I never know. Sometimes, and honestly, like, it's the way that shit works out. I end up going and saying, "You mind if we do it in an hour?" And then maybe just because life,
Oh, that's how it goes, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
got the full-time job and people counting on you during the day, and then you got the full-time family, of course, and then you got this, and then you got your work that you're actually making money off of for Joey and Rogan and all the other, what is it, Freddie Prince's podcast and all those guys. So shit, man, you got a full plate, dude, and if you're pumping one of these out a week as well, hell, I definitely want to be a part of that.
Dude, well, it's been fucking fun, and I dig that you don't give a shit what the hell I say, because I don't have any clue what the fuck I'm saying, man. I wrote down on a piece of paper a bunch of stuff the first time, and then I just go off of that, kind of try to go into it before I talk about whoever's going to be on the podcast.
Yeah, and
fun.
you get it across every time. It's a cool place. It's such a niche thing. Like, somebody's got to be coming here. And I've only gotten one nibble from it, I think. Somebody sent me an email that said that they had heard about me from the OneByOne podcast, and I never heard from them again. So it was just somebody curious. But that was enough. That's cool
pretty
as
cool,
shit, man. Somebody just hooking it up and dialing it up. I'm such a niche thing, dude. You got to be coming to the middle of nowhere, and then you got to have the money to afford me, because I'm not a cheap service, and I'm not getting arrogant or anything like that for it, but I'm competing with a place that there's big boys in town that they've been doing it for a while. One of them they call it the Moab Adventure Center, but it's actually Adventure Center is the name of the company, but they're like the Walmart of outdoor outfitting. They are the largest outdoor outfitter in the world. They are an international company. They're all over. And I'm just a dude wanting to take people hiking. You know what I mean? So I can't afford, with all my insurance and my licensing and everything else, I can't afford to just give the hikes away.
Yeah,
And I've got,
of course.
because when people start chewing me down, I immediately tell them, hey, call this number. These guys, this is more what you're looking for. But at the same time, while I'm not, I don't even mess around with it, because I've done that before, where I go down and I take a little bit less, and then the next day I'll get a call, and it's somebody that can pay the full thing. So at this point, I'm like, I'm not trying to offend you. I know I'm not a cheap service. Call these guys. It's a little more reasonable for you.
Yeah, dude.
But,
fucking negotiating is fucking weird, man. It sucks.
It is.
It sucks.
And of course,
balls.
Yeah, and the way we do it, we just have a certain fee that we got to get. If somebody calls me and they got 25, I don't do large groups like that, but if they got 10 to 15 people. I don't like more than about 8 people because then it's not quite as personal and I can't give all the same information. There's just too many people. But when I do big ones, I'm not going to charge those people the same thing. I'm going to wheel and deal with that. But if it's you and your girlfriend coming down for a weekend, staying at a free campsite, and you call me and you want to get me out of my house, and you only want to give me about $75 because that's what you think you do it for, but you have no idea, either call, look around on the internet, you got all the same information, and go out there and just do it yourself if you're on a budget. Or call the Adventure Center. They're the Walmart of outdoor outfitting. So, but my people, dude, I give them the best experience I can. My hobby is actually looking up the history of not just Moab geology, the paleontology of it. And I go, and those people, after they leave us, if you look at our TripAdvisor, there was one family that they were kind of funny. The parents were, they were all Chinese, but the kids were Americanized. I think both parents were physicians or something like that. Super, super sweet people and very nice. But they kept having a conversation in Mandarin with each other the whole time. And then they'd look at me and they'd say something, and then they'd go back to talking Mandarin with each other. So I didn't really know where I could get in to talk to them about it.
Oh, jeez.
So they didn't leave me a bad one. They just said he wasn't very engaging.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys were speaking Chinese.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward,
I mean, I felt like saying my eyes might have looked kind of Chinese, but I had sunglasses on with you the whole time, so you probably never saw that. That's terrible.
I was just very high. Yeah.
Not very, just a little bit. It's just the medical in the morning. I don't really get high till the evening. But yeah, that's when it's on my time. I got to keep myself.
Evening is in 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Usually about then. That's about when I get
Or
done.
you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Joey's thing, dude. I've got to get that T-shirt. But my wife got me another kind of funny T-shirt. It's one of those, man. As much as I love Joey, I know one day I'm just gonna wear it out in public, and I really don't need to be wearing that out in public in a town of 5,000.
Yeah, right.
But it's a classic one, man. That guy, that was one of the first things I ever saw of him was, because, Rogan introduced the world to Joey.
Yeah.
But I started listening to Rogan, right? I started looking his shit up online after I heard him on Open and Anthony talking about DMT. And then I started kind of going, he was doing some weird thing, and anything I could find on YouTube about him, I started listening to that. And right after I got into that, of course I knew about him from the Fear Factor days, he started doing the Joe Rogan Experience, where they had done some before, and then all of a sudden on iTunes it had this serious picture of him, the black and white picture. And the podcast was born. But then Joey's been there since the beginning. And dude, as soon as I heard Joey Diaz the first time, I tried to find out everything about that cat. I could. Like immediately, man.
He's
his whole
nuts,
story.
Dude.
That he is. Have you met back up with him again since the last time he came to town? Has he come back around to you?
Yeah, well, I saw him in September. He came to Parks Casino in PA, like right outside of Philly. So we a bunch of us hung out backstage, or in the green room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I thought that he told me 4 tickets that he had for me, waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being 2 at the thing, and I was like, oh shit, man. And I brought 2 friends, like, fuck, I fucked up. So I called him, and he called back, and some dudes came out, and they had extra tickets they gave back, and we ended up sitting behind them, and they ended up being 2 of his childhood fucking friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that he talked about on the podcast. Yeah, so we went back in the green room.
Real story, man.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Just hearing
fun,
about
man.
it. Oh, I bet, dude. Joey's so legit, and the way he came up, coming over as an immigrant, speaking no English, his mom being the Santorian, numbers running, and dude, the cats that because it's like I think it was Chase in the last podcast I listened to that you had out.
Yeah.
And you made the comment that we got all these friends that we're not really friends with.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've heard so much of them. They don't know shit about us, but we know everything about them. And dude, I wouldn't want to know stories that Joey holds back. If he has,
Right.
that would probably be a little further than you want to go.
Well, he
into the
he's
story.
got to, man, because every time he goes on Rogan, he's got some other fucking thing that he tells him about that he never heard all
Oh
the
yeah,
years that he's been
yeah.
president and shit. It's
Well, and just all the lives he's lived, man.
yeah, but he's doing good, man. He's got the show thing going on. I'm not sure
Oh yeah,
exactly
I saw
what's
that
happening
day
with
it came
Fox.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Fox. I haven't heard about that. I saw the Deplorables or whatever it was.
Degenerates. Yeah, that's on Netflix.
Degenerates, yeah.
No, he announced. I think it was right before that or right after that. He got a deal with Fox. He sold a fucking show.
Oh fuck yeah, cool.
So
That's news
it's
to
called
me, man.
Uncle Joey. It's gonna be called apparently, and
Like a sitcom?
yeah, on Fox. Yeah.
Oh shit! I hope it's
shit is right, dude. But
FX, like adult.
that's
Fox,
what
so they
everybody's saying. Hopefully it's FX, because Jesus Christ. But he had, I think, he told me they had until like the end of November or sometime to come up with the pilot, you know.
Mhm.
So they're gonna see what happens, but
Dude,
I think it's
that's
gonna
so
fucking
awesome.
work if they, you know, they were going back and forth too. It wasn't just.
Oh yeah!
It wasn't just Fox. It was another company. So.
Wow. So
It's
he's
gonna be
about
nice.
to really blow up, dude. All
I
of us
hope
old
so,
school
man.
guys that just heard a little blip of him and tried to find out everything about him, and he's such a cool cat, man. He's responsible, dude. Joey Diaz is pretty much responsible for me being out west, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I just listening to his podcast, and when I did the cross country hike, like Boulder sounds like a cool place. Joey Diaz was there. I was like, let's go check that. And I of course studied it myself and looked into it. It's like, oh yeah, right at the base of the Rockies. Go there, and we did, and had a great time. And I met lifelong friends. And then eventually, after I'd been there a little while, I met my wife who's in Utah, and I came and saw Utah. And but he was that put that just grain of sand in the pearl that's what prompted me to go to Boulder. You're like, yeah, I'll go check that. I'm walking across the country anyway, and check that place out. And one thing led to another. But yeah, I rode him. He came to Salt Lake City right after, I think, the first year I'd moved here. He's been here several times since then. But I'd written him a letter like a couple months before that, just saying, hey man, I know you probably get a lot of this shit, but I just want to tell you thanks, dude. My life's in a great place. I really love where it's going, and it all pretty much started with you, dude. Hearing about your experience in Boulder and your experience, and just keep going. And he's like, hey, man, well, say hi during the middle of it. I'm going to go out and hang with the crowd, and did. And he's like, oh, yeah. Hung out with him for a while. Smoked a little weed. It was so funny, though. We're in Salt Lake City, which is pretty much the lion's den for conservatism. We're literally, you could see the top of the temple, the LDS temple, from where, I think it's Wise Guys. It's where they're in a different spot now, but the comedy club, you could literally, where you're like not far from Temple Square. Diaz does his first set, comes out, and he's like meeting fans and stuff like that. And everybody's just bringing weed. I mean, there was edibles, a guy with wax, a guy gave him the pipe and all this other shit. And there was like a bouncer that was with him. And when the first person tried to walk up and give him some weed, the bouncer's like, no, stepped in front of Joey and put it down. And he's like, motherfucker, this is Uncle Joey. Bust that shit.
Yeah, he's
But
no
yeah,
fuck.
he's
He's
true
the
to
real
form.
deal, man. He doesn't
Yeah, this
give
was a long
fuck.
time ago. This is about 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago. So I don't think he smokes everything that comes up these days. He was still a little bit underground back then. I can't imagine why he would. Dude, he's so popular now. There's no telling the freaks he attracts besides us.
No, dude. Tell me about it. I was telling Chase, just running the fucking the Instagram page for him, and sometimes there's just people that's comment on their real fucked up shit, and it's like, I don't know. I try to manage it as best as I can, but a lot of the time the posts just end up staying there. But if it's like something super fucked up, especially if it's about like if I post something about the church is ready for you, and it's they didn't like the guest or whatever, and they say talk shit on them, You know, I'll have
You
to
know,
delete the fucking comment or turn the post so you can't comment on it at all. You know, it's
yeah, and
fucking
that's not fair
nuts.
to
But
everybody else. There's so many
it's not
freaks
fair.
out
But
there.
like, it's weird how just from getting so popular, how that
Sure.
attracts way more people like that. And I've noticed it as it's grown. You know, the more and more that it's gotten followers or whatever, it's just every once
Oh
in a
yeah,
while you'll get a fucking jerk
just
off you
some
got to
bizarre
block. You
shit.
know.
Well, how many people do you get that? And this is way before Instagram or any of that shit. I sent it to his. I went to his personal website and sent it to like Joey
Yeah, yeah.
back in the day, and I think it was more manageable for him back then. The church. I don't even think the church had been going on. The church did exist. Like he had just started. I don't think Lee. I don't really. It was right at the very beginning of the church. It was before the church even got popular.
Yeah.
Is when I talked to him. So it was probably much easier to contact him back then. I can't
Oh yeah.
imagine how many people try and contact him now. But do you get like, and I don't want to know what anybody says, but do you get DMs from like sincere people? Because
Oh
dude, he's
yeah.
such an inspirational cat.
Hell yeah, dude. And in the beginning too, I was because there's like a section like the DMs get separated into people that you follow and they come up 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the other people that just follow you that just send them. And there's like an option on there you can choose to like not let people send you DMs, but I don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But like
Oh no.
in the beginning, I was just going through because I didn't follow everybody that he was cool with and all that shit on there for him,
Yeah.
you know, yet. So I wasn't sure if I was getting messages that I should be showing him. So I would just go through the DMs a little bit just to see if there was like somebody with like a star next to their name, you know, just to
Mm-hmm.
see.
Sure.
But you know, once in a while, it just like looked like people really do just like you did, just
Oh
message him
yeah.
and say thank you, you know.
And
And
that's all it was. I never thought I'd hear back from him at all,
hmm
but I did. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And then I was going to a show. I was actually, I even, and this is something I want to, especially now that I've got a little bit more capital stability. But the thing I approached him about when he was still underground was throwing a comedy festival here in Moab.
oh
And
shit,
that's, oh yeah. Well, he told me I could get him for $1,500 for him, and then he said he'd do it with Duncan back then. I can't imagine I would get Duncan and Joey Diaz for $3,000 anymore.
I doubt it. Especially,
Yeah, and I wish I could have pulled it off then. I was just concentrating on other stuff.
especially
But
now, Duncan just had a baby and shit, or is going to. I forget.
yeah, I haven't
I think she's
was the
pregnant.
baby born? I think
I
it's
don't.
like right about to
Yeah, it's right
happen
about
now.
to happen. Yeah.
So yeah, he hadn't been on Rogan in like forever, man.
No, actually, I went back and listened to like the last one that he was on.
It was
I love
about
listening
almost a
to
year
him
ago,
on there,
right?
dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's man. There's so many podcasts I have now, dude,
I
that it's
know.
hard to keep up with as busy as I've been. But I still get them in rotation, man. I really do, and I work them around and all that. But I still listen to Duncan's thing, and he's doing pretty good. He's definitely not putting as many out anymore as he was. But yeah, he had such a tough few years there, and I mean, he's having a kid and he's married now.
Yeah.
So his life's going good, but it sounds like it's just busy as hell.
Fuck yeah. Just changing. Just like Joey with. He's got a 5-year-old plus all this shit's
Yeah.
going on now. You know, like all this shit's starting to pop. Like besides everything else, he wants to do, or Rogan's gonna do a fucking special with him after.
Hmm.
I think after June, he can do another like release another Netflix thing. So
Oh, they're finally going to do that. Is that when the date was? I know that
well,
Rogan's been
cause
talking about it for a while.
yeah, I think there's like a clause or whatever for with the degenerates. Like he can't do another
Hmm.
thing until June or something, sometime after June. So he's got until then to put an hour together and work on the show and just do shows and the podcast. Man, he's got a fucking nice little schedule.
Oh yeah, and I got to tell you, it almost breaks my heart that he's not eating edibles the way he was.
Yeah, he had a little bit on Christmas. He said, so did I. But
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. I had a
yeah,
little bit this afternoon.
it's definitely. I mean, it's true though. I dig how he cares that the podcast is doing better. You know, not just
Oh, fuck yeah.
not just number wise, but just the fact that he is present, listening to the guests, talking to the guests. You know, except for once in a while when he gets the guests too high, like
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Jake Ellenberger. He must have had the reefer that fucking killed Kennedy or something, because I never could not answer a question when I was stoned, man. But that happens when you don't smoke a lot too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
you don't smoke, and you fucking smoke some 30% shit. Like what?
Oh, it makes you, dude.
You're
One
gone.
of the, my wife and I had only been together a few months, and we took a trip over to Colorado to. There's hot springs around Telluride, Colorado. I'm right on the Utah Colorado border, and we go to some hot springs that are up there and dispensaries. It was the first year of it, so it was 2013, and dispensaries are still pretty new for recreational.
Yeah.
You know, and I went in the dispensary before we're going to stay at the resort where the hot springs are, and there's these lithium hot springs, man. You just go and soak for a few days and stay in these rooms, and I stocked up, dude. And I got to think of gummy bears. And my wife, she'll smoke a little bit, and it comes at times and stuff like that. She's never really been a stoner. She's always been cool and always tried it, but it's never quite been her thing. She can drink me under the table.
Yeah.
Drink has never been my thing. I do drink, but I'm not a big drinker. I've always been more of a smoker.
Yeah,
Well, I came out and I got a thing of gummy bears, and they were 10 milligrams a piece. I ate 6 just to get started. You know, that gets you 6 gets you there. 60 milligrams. That's just where I'm starting to really have a good time. I mean, I don't need to be driving or anything like that. I can take it a lot further, but that was the first thing. I gave her 1, not knowing she'd never done an edible before.
Well, that was only 10 milligrams then?
It was 10 milligrams, but she'd never done an edible before, and she doesn't even smoke that often. We got to the resort, and we were meeting friends that were going to be there with us, and there was a little mix-up with how we did the reservation. And it's an adults resort, not like a swinger thing or anything like that, but it's it's a very small hot springs. They only have a few pools, so it's very, very small and only so many people fit. So they're very exclusive as to who they let in. And once you have the reservation, they're only going to talk to that person, and they sell out months in advance.
Wow.
So there was a little bit of problem that was in her friend's name, and she went in, and that shit kicked in. And she came back out. She was white as a ghost. And I'm like, are you okay? And it's really kicking in for me, and I'm fine talking to people, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And she's like, no, we can't check in yet. Like, okay, what are we supposed to do? She's like, I don't know. Let's go to a restaurant. We drove down the street. We go to a restaurant. She's like, I don't understand why we can't check in. And she's just not saying anything. And I was like, look, I can't do anything to make you feel better. I'm very sorry. And that's when I found out she hadn't had anything. He's like, is this going to last forever? I'm like, no, you're just high. It's going to be okay. That just stressed you out a little bit. Let's go back. I'm like, you stay in the car, and I'll just walk in and talk to her and just say, look, our friends, they're like literally 45 minutes away. And I went in and I did all that. And the lady was like, yeah, no problem. You guys come on in, because it was 2 separate rooms. I'm like, we're the other people. Like, take my credit card, take cash, whatever. We're here. It's all going to be okay. And she's like, oh, sure, no problem. I got her in the room finally. It's like, why don't you just get in bed, just lay down, put the cover over her. I feel like time is working backwards. I don't know if I'll ever be the same again. And scared, man. And I couldn't do anything but smile and say, darling, you're going to be okay. Give it about 2.5, 3 hours. Try and take a nap. Like, none of those things are happening. Time is not working backwards.
I know, man.
This will wear off. You will definitely recover, and you'll be okay. And then, but sure enough, man, it was a few hours later, she was fine. And we laugh about it now, but she will never eat another edible again, ever, ever, ever.
That's when they prove that they're an actual psychedelic, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because that sounds like me when I took like a little piece of paper acid one time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to fucking look at the. I came home to my girlfriend at the time's house, and we had a pug. She had a pug,
mm-hmm.
And Men in Black was popular at the time, and the first one, I think, or the second one, whatever. And at night, she kept it in a cage. And when I walked in the front door, I just didn't want to, like, I had put my hand up. I was like, I'm not looking. Because I thought the fucking dog was going to start talking to me like the dog in Men in Black.
Yeah, and it's a shame that LSD puts anxiety on that. Because if I walked in a room and I thought a dog was about to talk to me, dude, I would be right down in their face trying to have a conversation.
If I wasn't anxious, if I was like sober and I thought that was gonna happen, I'd be like, okay, let's see what you're gonna say, dude.
Exactly. Well, that's what LSD does, though, man.
Yeah.
It gives you that anxiety on top of it and all that. And yeah, and edibles are definitely a psychedelic.
Maybe
Without
that's
a doubt.
what. I don't know. Sometimes I get weird about around Christmas time because that was the time that it happened, and I came home and like I didn't look at the dog, and then I remember us hanging out on the couch next to the Christmas tree, and at one point I was like hiding under the blanket, and my girlfriend looked at me. She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I said, I'm hiding from the Christmas tree."
Yeah, that's such a comforting. Christmas trees suck when you're tripping, man. They're not cool at all. It's nothing you want to look at. It's just kind of this big blur of different colors. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. That getting uncomfortable and getting under the covers. You're like, okay, I'll be okay here.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get me.
Safe place. It's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
is that the only time you ever did LSD?
No. I did a couple times.
And we don't have to go into drug stories or anything like that.
But like, I've done mushrooms a couple more times than actual, drops.
Mm-hmm.
But the only time I've ever had a bad time was on the actual drops. Mushrooms never gave me a bad trip. I was they just kept me up all fucking night sometimes.
Oh, sure. Well, you got to let go on those things. And I haven't done any, not that I'm opposed to it, but I don't really go there very often anymore. I'm still open to it, and it happens from time to time, but it's like years and years in between.
Yeah.
It's got to be the right situation.
Yeah, it's probably been about like 10 years since I've done any of that kind of shit. But I don't know. Eating the pot, it's a different kind of psychedelic. But I never got that high off of that shit. One time, when I went to see Joey and Dean Delray in fucking New York, I had he gave me a couple of those 200 milligram stars, and I ate one of them, a whole one, and then smoked a joint with him, and I was gone, dude.
Yeah, 200 milligrams is enough, man.
I don't know how the fuck they were doing 1,000, 1,500 at a time. They were getting nuts with that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've eaten some mega doses of weed, and when we were making brownies, man, I had a relative that was a grower in Florida. I had them give me all their tops after they trimmed, and it was about a quarter pound of dried tops and leaves. And I took that quarter pound and ground it up into about a consistency of flour and mixed that whole quarter pound in a batch of brownies. I mean, it was more weed than it was brownie. It was 2 batches of brownies. Excuse me. I made them really thick. Yeah. But you could eat about a quarter of an inch square of those motherfuckers, dude. They were about 3/4 of an inch thick, needed about a quarter of an inch square, and I had people thinking they were swallowing their tongues and needed to go to the hospital because they thought they were having seizures.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I don't know how many milligrams that was. It wasn't pleasant, but
it's hard to measure it, right? Like when you're trying to make them yourself.
I don't know. And there's recipes and formulas for how to do that now, but this was back in the day. I didn't even have a fucking computer in my house. This was like 95 or 96.
He had the Anarchist Cookbook.
Yeah.
Remember that thing?
And I didn't get the recipe from Matt. The same family member actually told me how to make it and what I should do, and told me I was putting too much. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. But
it can't hurt.
That was,
It can't hurt.
No, it kind of did. I kept them all, and I said, look, you can't go to the hospital because I can't drive you, and we're not calling an ambulance. So the one fuck up I had that, like, really, I was okay after a little while, but I'd been in Colorado for about 2 or 3 months, and I didn't have a medical card yet. And my buddy Dylan he had a medical card, and we worked together when I was working as an arborist, and he's doing really well now. Got his own company and stuff like that as well. And I'd send him in, I was like, hey man, give me an edible, just give me something. And it was the medical days before recreational came in, and you could get 1,000 milligram edibles back then. Well,
Wow.
he got me a soda that I think it was like a 50 milligram soda or something like that. Dude, I took it back home, popped it down the whole thing. It was the best buzz I'd ever had on weed, ever in my life. I was just so happy, and the euphoria with it, and the body high, and it was great. It's like, oh man, the sodas, they are the shit. So a couple days later, he's going back in the dispensary for us, and he's taking everybody's order, because the medical guys back then, you could buy, depending on what your prescription was, there wasn't any of this ounce shit. It was, what do you need? Like, once I finally got a medical card, I could buy up to like 6 ounces a day.
Wow.
7 days a week. Yeah, well,
Holy shit.
Yeah, I had a prescription for 75 plants at all times, up to like 12 pounds, being cured, and like 4 pounds I could keep on me at all times. Nobody could fuck with me.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different day. You didn't go in and could only buy 32 ounces or 32 grams. It was, you could go in and they would hook you up. Well, and that's kind of another story. I had such a big prescription. Once I started going to dispensaries myself, they just threw shit at me. But the next week, he goes into the dispensary, and I'm like, hey, man, give me a couple of those sodas, dude. He's like, oh, you like those? I'm like, hell yeah, I like those. Hook it up. So he comes out, gives me 2 sodas and a paper bag. And, all right, Dylan, appreciate it. See you later. I'd go back. I was still in the hotel room then. That was kind of my refuge back in the day. When I got to Colorado, I was still like wanting to be on the road and finish it going to San Francisco, but staying there, and got something to eat that day, go home, pop it open, just down the whole thing, just sitting around. I'm starting to feel high. Then I'm starting to feel really fucking high. Then I'm starting to think there's people outside the hotel room that are going to come in and kill me. Then I'm thinking the TV might be watching. I'm like, holy fucking shit. I think that fucking thing is laced, man. Something's going on. Like, really, really uncomfortable. Like, really thinking, hey, you might have got some tainted shit. So I go and grab the bottle out of the fucking garbage can that I had just opened up and down. It was a 750 milligram soda.
Oh.
Meant to be taken in shots. Like, one shot was like 50 milligrams. Like, little capfuls is what you were supposed to take. It was supposed to last you like a week or something like that. A little bit every day. But yeah, I did the whole thing. Dude, like, for a week after that, I would walk into a room and forget what the fuck I went in there for. And then I realized, oh, you're in the bathroom. Maybe you got to go to the bathroom.
Dude, that's
So,
just
yeah.
nuts, man. I never took that much, but it's
No,
just refreshing. Sometimes
it's
when I
not
take
pleasant.
it, I wake up in the morning and I feel a little more refreshed than usual. I don't know why.
I have a hard time the next morning if I eat edibles at night, opening my eyes. Like, first waking up's a little bit tougher, but yeah, the next day I always feel good from it. But-
I haven't really gotten to experiment too much with it over here yet, but hopefully we see
Have they
some
got
fucking
dispensaries
action.
for you guys yet?
No, well, it's not recreationally legal so far. I mean, they got a few for the medicinal shit, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Is it not close by?
nah, it's probably over an hour away. But still, I would go, you know. But I haven't really gone to my doctor to talk about getting a prescription for it and all that shit. I've
look
been
it up.
holding out for the recreational shit to happen.
Don't
Which-
hold out for that, dude. I enjoyed medical in Colorado so much better than the recreational dispensaries. Now, I like it all. I'm glad they got the rec dispensaries, and that's fucking awesome. But, dude, the medical days, that was the golden age. It really was. Well, I mean, just the way it worked, it was so much more open. And I don't care what it is, dude. Weed, if you can handle the buzz, it's good for what ails you. I mean, you hurt a little bit? Fine. Do you get a little bit uncomfortable? Do you have a quick temper? It's good for everybody. And there's a reason so many people smoke weed. They're all self-medicating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so it's always medicine, no matter what anybody says. But when it's medical, there's so much more free. it's not considered like alcohol. There ain't nobody. I could go into a liquor store and buy a case of Jack Daniels and take it home and drink that motherfucker, and ain't nobody telling me not to. The liquor store will help you carry it to the car, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At these rec dispensaries, you go and you stock up for the month, you buy an ounce or something like that. You can't buy anything else. You can't get edibles to keep at the house, too. So it's more of a pain in the ass now as compared to what it was.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know, but
at
I'm
the medical dispensaries?
No, that's at the rec dispensaries in Colorado.
Okay.
You can only buy an ounce. And the way to do that, if you go in with two people, that person can make a purchase as well. My wife, who's not a smoker, she'll go in with me and she'll buy the edibles or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Why? Because you can only buy like so much
you can
weed
only buy
and so
an
much.
ounce, 32 grams.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Like whether it's in flour or edible.
Yeah. It's so
together.
many milligrams. It's something.
Wow.
So many milligrams you can buy at edibles, and then then they'll even it out. It can't be more than they consider 32 grams of weed in a day. And it's illegal to even go to a different dispensary. I mean, there's places in Denver that it's like every shop on the fucking block is a dispensary.
And it's illegal to go from one to the next.
Nobody's going to go by that. But dude, I live in the country. I live in near western Colorado. I don't live eastern Colorado in Denver, where you could do that. But
crazy.
The medical places, you could buy anything. They got medical in Florida now, but all my relatives and friends that go to the dispensaries there's no flour, so all you can get is vape. Yeah. Which is retarded, man, dude. If they were really there's a lawyer that's actually suing the state of Florida for the right to smoke it, which is John Morgan. He's a great guy, great lawyer, and I think he had an epileptic daughter or a special needs daughter or something like that, and it really marijuana had a profound effect on her recovery. It gave her a good quality of life, and then he's a very famous lawyer in Central Florida anyway. So we really got behind it, and but it's all vape, and I can't fuck with vapes, dude. I mean, a little bit here and there, I can take a couple hits, but if you really go there with a vape, it fucks with my memory so hard, and
it's got so much more potent, isn't it? Like, so much more. And dude, the way when I go to the dispensary, I don't give a fuck what the name is. It can be Bubba, Alien Kush, whatever, or Kim Dog, and I like all that shit. It's cool, but I look at the percentage, dude. I go 25% and up. Yep.
You know, and that's exactly how I look at it, dude. So I'm going all THC content.
Hell yeah! I can't wait till that day comes, man. I really do, because I'm pretty sure that they changed it so you can go to your doctor and say, yeah, I get migraines or anxiety or some shit now.
Dude, you can get anything, man.
Yeah. But I just got to go to the right doctor.
Yeah, I'm sure they got websites or whatever. I mean, that's how it was in Colorado. You could just, dude, if you type it into Google, MMJ prescription, there would be 1,000 different doctors that came up. Now, Colorado, have you ever been to Colorado?
No.
It's a different sort of lifestyle, man. I mean, I'm an East Coast kid myself from the Southeast. You get out here towards these Rockies, people are different than they are back east. And I don't care what anybody says. They have their own agenda, and it's a much, much more laid-back lifestyle. Even the most conservative, open-carry cowboy that you're going to find in Colorado, he doesn't give a shit if you're smoking weed. Just don't don't get in his business. You know what I mean? They don't care what kind of businesses are going on in this state. Oh, yeah, hippies. Hippies are here. Hippies smoke weed, but everybody smokes weed. Nobody really gives a shit about that sort of thing. Back east, everybody's keeping up with it. Not everybody, but you know what I mean. It's just a different sort of – drugs are such a hot-button issue with people. Oh, it's a scourge. No. It's just so bad. You smoke a little weed and then you're shooting the heroin.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So ridiculous, man. They don't. I don't know.
The gateway was, my generation, to just say no. You smoke a little weed and it's going to ruin your life forever. Well, actually, when I was 12 years old, I smoked a little bit of weed. I got the munchies. We didn't have anything to eat except for crackers and hot sauce, and that was the best food I ever had in my life. I had a good time, laughed with my friends forever. so maybe cocaine's not so bad. You said that was going to fuck up my life too. You know what I mean? That was the gateway for me, was the lies that they told us. You know, if they just said, look, you
Exactly.
can do this, this, and this to you. If you do fucking meth, you're not going to sleep for a week. It's going to be great in the beginning, but eventually it's going to go dark and it's not going to do the same thing. But they don't tell you that shit. They just say, don't do it. You know?
Yeah, I can remember being in fucking Dare when I was little, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that I remember them bringing in a whole bunch of like different kinds of drugs and putting them on the table and showing you what each one was, and
Oh, the briefcase.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they never, I don't know, they just made it seem like they were all just one thing, all bad, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And you're
What
right,
is
dude.
that?
That gateway drug was really the fucking war on drugs itself, because it brought
Oh,
so much
yeah.
attention to drugs. You know?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Well, it brought it to the mainstream, and at the same time, the vice president was funneling cocaine to LA that started the fucking crack epidemic.
Yep.
You know, it was just all that covert shit. It's a little harder for people to get away with that kind of stuff now. But now the truth is out. We're on going into the third generation that drugs have been a major part of the culture. You know, so people are changing. I think my folks, and this kind of gives away the way I was raised a little bit. My dad's like, I always smoked weed in front of you because I thought it would be legal by the time you were a teenager and it mattered. You know, so
Yeah.
I've been around it literally my entire life. And it was just one of those things you just got to keep it quiet. You don't say anything, but you know, it's where I'm from. You don't talk about the shit that happens in the house anyway. We're just private people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to, you know, you talk to your friends and your family and stuff like that, but hell no. When they start talking about that shit at school, damn sure keep your mouth shut. Boy, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. You stupid.
not,
Oh no,
not we
nothing.
ever. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And funny thing, as far as this briefcase goes, they got the little samples of everything.
Yeah.
I moved back to my hometown in 2006 for just a little while, right before I got in that accident and I broke my neck. And I rented a place from a guy that was a cop. Small town, it's town to this day. It's less than 6,000 people. But, you know, the guys that were cops when I was in my early 30s were guys that had gone to high school, and they've been cops since right after high school. But an old friend of mine that was a cop, he's like, yeah, this dude is going to another station, such and such, got a job somewhere up in Alabama or something like that. He's got a house he's renting, man. You ought to rent that house. And I rented the house. And I'd been there for a couple weeks, and in the kitchen there was like a cabinet thing. He had been the dare cop that went into the schools and talked to the kids. There was one of those fucking briefcases up on top of the cabinets, dude. I pulled it down, I'm like, what the hell is this? When I first got it, it was just me and my buddies hanging a weekend or something like that, drinking. Like, what the fuck is this, man? I never even noticed this. Pulled it down, and it was one of those cases that was a bunch of fake drugs or whatever. The funny thing was, all of us being drunk, going through it, man, you think any of this shit's real?
Yeah.
None of it was real. They lied to us the whole time. They didn't even bring real drugs to show us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it
Jerk
sucked.
offs.
No doubt. If you're going to bring it, bring the real shit. We know you're taking it from people anyway.
Right.
So that way, when you clumsily leave it in your tenant's fucking house, he has something to tell. So, but yeah, I actually went and we didn't sample too much. I'll be lying if I say we didn't bust a couple things open to see if it was real. But I actually called the guy and I took it back up to the police station and gave it back to them.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty fucking funny. It
So-
was just moving.
What's
I'm
on
sorry, go
the
ahead.
What's on the agenda for you for next year, brother? I've been trying to write down goals. I listened to the last church, and Joe was talking about writing your goals for 2019 and
Mhm.
getting all this shit out and getting done. Do you write down your goals?
I do, and I've done that for quite a long time, more in like journaling and that sort of thing. And it's more where I want to see myself, and that comes from early 2000 reading like Eckhart Tolle and that sort of thing. Being a young man, trying to kind of find my way. I was pretty lost back then. I'm pretty sure of who I am now. And honestly, from that, since I've been in Moab, and things have evolved since the first I was here. I think it was my third season in town is when Max started Hike Moab, and I started guiding. And ever since then, since I started doing that, like I knew immediately within a couple months, man, I can do this shit forever. This is so much fun. It's, getting up every day, taking people out to the trails, meeting new people. They're in a great mood. They're coming and seeing something that they wanted to see. And it's the thing about Moab, you can see as many pictures as you want, but until you're there and you see the immensity of this place and you're standing in it, it doesn't really kind of grab you. So everybody's just blown away.
Yeah.
And my goal had been, with Mac being in the business, I was still going to guide with him. But in 2019, we were going to open up our own outfitting company anyway. So when he was a musician, and he's Mac, he streams creative. MacArthur Lloyd, if anybody's into Twitch, he's doing really good on that. He was live streaming his music, so his life's just kind of taking him somewhere else. And he asked me if I wanted to take over Hike Moab, so I'm doing that. And what my goals are now, I just, you go talk to the bank, and if you pay your bills on time, they can tell you some real scary shit like, hey, we'll give you want $50,000?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it got a little hot to try about that. Thought about doing it, like go ahead and get in the storefront, because right now we're basically a website and a couple of trucks. And that's all we really need. Getting a storefront, it's kind of hard to have people you can depend on in this town. We're very much a tourist town, so when the labor pool comes into town, it's mostly dirtbag kids that are just coming to have fun and have a good time, and they're needing to fuel their adventure. And I want to help out on that, but as a kid in his 20s who lived on a beach, no matter how bad you want to help, sometimes you just don't make it to work.
Yeah.
It's hard to really try and expand. What I want to do this year is just take it just as far as we can without a storefront. And then in 2020, be able to have the capital to open up our own storefront then. And this year, I just want to take more clients out. I want to give them better experiences, get better hikes. Want to get a retail line. We got a couple things online now. My friend Johnny Shine down in Florida, who owns a print shop, we're going to be working with him in January coming up. So by the spring, we're going to have a retail line as well. So anybody on here that wants to go on the website, Moab, our hikemoabtours.com. We got a couple things. You want to buy a sticker? Hell, if you just send me an email, I'll even send people a sticker. Yeah, there's a couple that are online, but yeah, probably just go with a retail line and just try and solidify ourselves more. You know what I mean? We've had the respect of the town. We've got the respect of our clientele. We've taken out enough people that the respect that we were looking for, we now have.
Yeah.
Now we just got to maintain that and be able to get more people out. And, we're kind of heading into some scary times with the country. And I don't want to get political. There's just way too much of that shit these days.
Yeah.
But it's a mess. As we all know. But, whatever is coming, if we can just keep ourselves more solid and survive. I'm not trying to get rich. If that was the thing, I'd still be working 100 hours a week doing something. I know how to I have skills and I have the know-how to make a lot more money than I even make now, but my quality of life is so good now.
Yeah.
It's, Gary Vaynerchuk, I think is how you pronounce his name. I heard one of the first little clips I heard of him. He was talking about, look, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be this ambitious guy who's going to take it, who works 24 hours a day, who sits in bed at night thinking about how he's going to do this, who goes out with their kids and spends time with them. In the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about business. He's like, I got friends that make $40,000 and they do everything they want to do and their life's great. I need a little more than 40 grand a year, but not much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my life is great. So if I could just get our business to where we're keep getting those repeat customers, people keep coming into town, and we can make ourselves just so we're a little more solid, I'll be good with that. 2020 is when I really want to push it over the top. So I think that's the short answer, is just push it a little, have a little more 2018 and 2019 and keep that going.
Yeah.
So we're still in a building time. How about you, man? What are your plans?
Man, I'm not really sure exactly. I want to, with everything that else is going on, I have no set goals exactly for the podcast or the design stuff or whatever, but we're looking to actually buy a house.
Nice.
Because right now we're renting, and I also need to do something I've been fucking not putting off, but just it's been getting put off just because of life. But I need to invest in a ring and ask this girl to marry me, man.
Oh
So,
shit, dude!
yeah.
I always forget about that. It's
yeah, we went backwards, dude. But
man,
it's
no,
it's almost 2019.
No doubt. How long you guys been together?
January will be 7 years. Start of 7. So yeah, it's way past due.
And I never thought things like marriage mattered. I really didn't. And my wife and I, we met and we fell madly in love. And it was one of those things. And I was drinking, like I was in party mode when I first met my wife. I was hiking across the country. My plan was to always go back to Florida and start another business.
Yeah.
And partying a lot when I met her. I knew I loved her. I'm like, yeah, let's get married. Ask her real quick. We were married within 3 or 4 months. And we didn't even know each other that well. And it was kind of a whirlwind thing, but I sort of knew. But once it happens, man, there is something to it. There really is. And not getting in, I hear all the arguments of monogamy is just, it goes against the human animals. Like, what, you're right, but that's kind of the thing that makes it special. Because thick or thin, man, that woman has my back and I have hers. And I know there's at least one person on this planet that's got me, that I can come in and say anything to. And once you take that step and you stand up and even if you go to the courthouse, man, you get that piece of paper, there's something more to it.
Yeah,
there really
I feel
is.
like
It
there
takes
will
it
be,
to another
dude.
layer.
I mean,
there is.
The whole baby thing, it took it to a way another level. Moving out together took it to a different level before that. Like, and it's just life has just been like especially the last like 3 to 4 years since I started doing all this stuff. It's just been crazy, and it's been hard. It's been going by so fast,
Oh yeah,
So,
dude, and it
we'll
only
see what
speeds
happens.
up.
Go ahead.
I was about to say I'll be 45
Yep.
in April, and I got to tell you, since I was 35, those years have only been picking up speed, dude. They go by so quick. I mean, it was like a year ago we spoke.
Yeah, just
It was about November, and dude, it feels like it's been a couple of months, honestly. But at the same time, it's like, holy shit, so much happened. It feels like a lifetime. It's been years, but then when you really think about it, it's pretty wild the way it goes.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe I just turned 37 this year, and I don't feel old, but my body feels like I'm starting to I have to start exercising now.
Oh yes, you do.
For the longest
Yes,
time,
you
dude, I
do.
got away with not doing shit. I eat not great at all. I've been trying to eat better. We actually our Christmas gift to each other was one of the things. The big thing was an elliptical machine we fucking ordered.
Nice.
So we're gonna get that shit this weekend, and I'm gonna start keeping that. That is one of the goals for me, is to get healthy. Yeah, exercise, man.
Oh, that's a great one, man. We actually, with just what I do, hiking every day,
Yeah.
my cardio is good. Like in my lower body, everything's good there. But since we lost the fiery furnace tour, that was like a 3-mile scramble where you're climbing over stuff. That kept my upper body just enough. Well, I guess it's been 6-8 months ago, we went keto. And then my upper arm, after being out of the furnace every day for a year and a half or so, started getting a little bit flabby. So I ordered some steel maces, and I've got clubs and some kettlebells and stuff. And I've been working out really hard and been keto for the last 6 to 9 months. And dude, I thought my cardio was good enough that last year is the first year I kept up with how many miles I hike, and I started keeping up with it in April. And not all the times that I forgot my Fitbit, So, and I don't know, however many months that is, 8 months or so, I clocked about 2,700 miles
Holy
hiking.
crap.
So I didn't think I needed to lose any weight. I thought, this dad belly I got going, that's just the result of being a 40-year-old man. 6 months after keto, dude, I got a flat stomach. I got down to I was about 215 then. I'm not a tall guy. I'm about 5'10", but I've always been a real stocky guy. It's just my family build. We got a big upper body, little stumpy legs. Like I got a 29-inch inseam. Little bitty short legs, man, but we're stocky people,
Yeah.
But I have a flat stomach, and that's all from the keto. That's not like, dude, it melted like extra fat on me that I just thought was part of my build. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And
Yeah.
dude, I haven't done many cheat days. We cheat a little bit here and there, but Thanksgiving, we really went for it. We had friends in town that were visiting from Canada that come and stay for a while, and Canadians love Thanksgiving with Americans. So we had her over and we just said, okay, fuck it, we're going to do it. We're going to eat all the Thanksgiving food and the dressing and the mashed potatoes. And I hadn't drank beer in forever and anything like. I love a good IPA, a nice Colorado IPA. I love a big, just turn your mouth inside out. It's so bitter. And I got through about 2.5, 3 beers, and those carbs hit me. And then we ate Thanksgiving dinner, all that shit. Dude, I was sick for 2 days. I'll never do that to myself again. Carbs are evil, man. It's a hard jump to make, but once you make it, and now I'm at a point that I back up to about 180 because I've been working out so much. I've put a good bit of muscle back on. But now after eating, and not just eating keto, not just eating solid meat, but eating very, very clean and making sure we're getting plenty of greens and eating salads. And I think the last time we spoke on the podcast, I was talking about how we make cookies around the house all the time and shit. None of that. No junk food. I think I've eaten ice cream one time.
Wow.
Since we did it. We've gone out, we had pizza one night, and then there's been just a couple nights cheating. But after Thanksgiving, dude, I don't care if I ever cheat again.
Dude, she's been talking about trying the keto thing, but I don't know. It's hard.
Jump,
it's hard, especially with the baby. You got to keep him, eating certain things, but I don't know. We'll figure it out, especially once we get this elliptical in here. I'm going to be fucking, because I keep hearing, all the shit with Rogan says, everybody else that I listen to, how just working out help with anxiety and depression and shit like that, and I need a little help with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. Order yourself a couple of kettlebells. Get a Still Mason. What I've been doing, man, I don't watch. I've just never been much of a TV watcher to begin with. Not for a long, long time, anyway. Didn't even have a TV for about 10 years, and then my wife got one. I think last year for Christmas or the year before, or something like that, and. But now, there's so much good content out there, dude. I'll throw on. I watched Degenerates. I watched that. I just go and work out for an hour or something like that. Just pick up the weights, and dude, it doesn't matter. Start small and just do tons and tons of reps. You'll eventually get up. It's not about the weight, man. And these different the kettlebells and stuff like that. The last time, and I've worked out pretty steady before in my 20s. And it was the traditional, benching and curls and all that stuff, more the traditional weights. But all this new equipment and stuff that's come out, that's pretty much from On It.
Yeah.
And all that shit. It's a different sort of thing. Like, it's much lower weight, but that using your full body to do it makes a huge difference, man. And after 6 months of that, plus on top of all the cardio I do, dude, I feel great. 45 years old, and I still got the aches and pains of a 45-year-old. But, yeah, my energy level's through the roof. Don't, like anybody else, I worry about money and bills and all that bullshit. But depression, nah, man. If I'm keeping myself in good shape, that shit doesn't really duck its head in too much.
Yeah, dude. That's something I need to get working on. I used to be so active when I was young. I used to ride fucking bikes everywhere. I used to run around the fucking neighborhood. And then I got to be a teenager, an older teenager, and then fucking started smoking reefer. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna sit here and listen to this album real quick and not get up.
Well, dude, I tell you what though, man, I keep my bowl right beside me when I work out and smoke bowls the whole time. You can
Yeah.
get through that sitting around lazy shit. But I've got pretty good access to good weed too. I just break out a sativa for
Yeah.
the workout days. The indica's at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's something. That's another goal I'm going towards. Being able to get reefer and know what it is, what kind it is. Right now, I'm just like, all right, y'all take what you got. All right.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing, man. I haven't bought weed outside of a dispensary in years, like literally 5 or 6 years. Every time I get anything, it's at a dispensary, and I've forgotten what it's like. I think I bought a couple bags since I've been here.
Yeah, that's all I've known,
Uh,
man. I've never. I remember the first time I walked into like the bong shop, and thought that was crazy that I was walking in there and they were letting me do that. But you're not allowed to say that you're
Water
smoking
pipe
weed.
shop.
Yeah, water pipe. What are you putting here?
For
Tobacco
tobacco.
use only. Whatever.
Oh,
Shut
yeah.
up. You guys are stupid.
Yeah, no,
No, but
those
they were
places
probably
sell
worried
fucking
cops or
bath
something
salts
would come
and
in.
shit. Oh yeah. Well, it's a different world. Hopefully that comes through, man. I do encourage you just to look up the doctor, go get the script, and just go and talk to him. I mean, I don't know if you guys got flour, but dude, any THC is better than no THC.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do have flour here because one of my friends has a script and has told me about how she goes up. And it's not that much more expensive than what I'm getting, not from a dispensary. So,
Oh yeah, allegedly.
allegedly. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing here.
Nothing that's any of your fucking business anyway.
Fuck no.
Exactly. Well, all these different online things you do, it's all a character anyway.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, it's allegedly a character.
I love that word.
Are you going to come out west at all, man? I mean, the bigger Joey gets, if you're with that camp, dude, you're going to need to be out west at some point.
That's what I'm hoping will happen. Like, I don't want to fucking say that that's like a goal, but I do. Like, we have definitely talked about, like me and my girl, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
if that was a possibility, would she do it? Because she's got a career here. We got all our family here. But, I think the both of us have been, like, super excited about everything that's been going on the last couple of years with everything. So I think we definitely would take the chance. I actually got an offer, like, a guy that he works with a company, actually a weed company out in L.A., that sponsors a couple of the Comedy Chaos shows.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, yeah, we want to fly you and your girl out in like March or April or something sometime for the weekend and just hook you up with the people at the Comedy Store and, set you up and see what happens. And I was like, really? Are you fucking serious? So if that falls through, I would definitely take that up because I want to get the fuck out there and just see. I just want to go to the Comedy Store one weekend and fucking experience that place because I've never been anywhere besides fucking Helium here or Gotham.
Sure.
And those places are great, but they're not the Comedy Store.
The Comedy Store's a mecca, dude.
Yeah.
There's just so much history that goes into that place. I haven't been to LA yet, man.
No.
And I'm sure it's got a lot of cool stuff, but I'm not much of a city guy anyway.
Nah.
So I'm afraid I'd just be like,
You know what? Me either, dude. Like from living in Jersey and going over to Philly all the time to like see shows or concerts or whatever, I definitely don't dig the city. I don't know how some of my friends have lived in Philly, and I'm just like, I can't even. It's hard for me to come here and fucking park to come visit you, man. Like, I don't know how you live here,
Philly's such a hard city, man. I've known a few Philly boys that wound up in Florida, and they were some of the toughest individuals I've ever met in my life, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
ain't
just
no
came
joke.
up hard, son. You didn't. I mean, nicest guys you ever want to meet, sweethearts. But dude, if someday somebody got on the wrong side of them, they were not somebody you would have a deal with. I made a point of making friends with people like that. I was never the kid that went and challenging, hard cats out there. But Philly, dude, that's supposed to be an intense place.
Yeah. Well, luckily I've haven't stayed out of there on purpose, but I've only, gone over there for those reasons, like the concerts and
Oh,
the
sure.
fucking comedy shows and my own show, like the when I was in bands and shit. But
Hmm.
it's just hard, dude. It's nice though to have the city so close,
Oh, yeah, the
you
amenities
know.
of it are great. And that's the
But
thing I hear about LA is you want to go see Bob Dylan on a Tuesday night or try and understand what Bob Dylan's
if you
saying.
if
You can
you
do
if you're
that in
really
LA.
trying to do that, if you take
Yeah,
if you take a couple drops and then go.
sure. And it's just all available there, you know. I don't, dude, you ever seen Bob Dylan live?
No, my
I,
friends actually just went like recently. He came around here in Atlantic City, I think.
he really sucked the time I I couldn't imagine being tripping having to deal with that. I mean, he's hard to understand, but he was fucking drunk.
I know.
Dude, it was, and I mean, he's Bob Dylan, you know. I'm not knocking Bob Dylan, but I'm knocking fucking Bob Dylan. It was, I wanted Mr. Tambourine Man.
Yeah,
He was
plus he's 100 years old now, so it's like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Andy's drunk. Andy's had nothing but yes men around him his entire life. So, but the music was good and the musicians were good, but he was really, you could not understand what he was saying. Like you would know the songs he was singing, but I felt let down by it, and it sounded like he was off and like it was mixed up, and it wasn't an enjoyable show at all.
nah, I don't. I that is so disappointing when you go to like I can understand that because he's so old and whatever.
Oh sure.
But like when you go to a concert and the band is not exactly how they sound on the record, you're just
Hmm.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you gotta kind of expect that a little bit. Like it's, I've seen
These
so many
days, yeah.
shows. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, man, I saw so many shows, and I mean, you know, the greats: Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ministry.
I just saw Ministry
Such.
a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Did you finally go to that show? Did you hang out with Sin and those guys backstage?
No, I hung out with Sin a little bit beforehand. He was like walking
Hmm.
around the front, so that was pretty cool.
Right on. Did you get to meet Uncle Al?
No. I think that they had to like go right after. I think he did
Oh, sure.
he did a DJ thing right after
Mhm.
at the club right next to the old Electric Factory. I forget the fuck it's called
Yeah,
now.
he's a machine, dude.
Yeah, they're awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, they're really great.
But how
But
like
yeah,
that's what my friend said. Like Nirvana was my dad's or not my dad, my friend's dad. Uh, they were one of the bands that he was like when I was young and getting
Mhm.
into Nirvana and shit. We were watching them and they were on Saturday Night Live. I think the second time when they were playing like Heart Shaped Box and shit, and
Mhm.
he was like, "Yeah, this is one of the bands that actually is good when you see them live." You know, like
Yeah, I saw him that tour, the In Utero tour, and it was, I believe, one of the last shows they played in the United States. It was in Tallahassee, Florida. Kurt Cobain didn't say a word to the audience the whole time. They played about an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hour show. Pretty much played in Euro, but it was the bassist who spoke to the band in between the songs. He didn't no stage presence at all. He just stood there and sung the songs, but it sounded, I mean, probably better than the actually album did.
yeah, he was
You
probably
know?
fucked up right then. That's probably
Oh,
why.
dude, he went to Europe right after that, and that's when he OD'd on the roofies and shit and
Yeah.
the champagne, and they thought that he was trying to kill himself then. He's like, no, I was just getting fucked up. Uh, I think he even said something to the effect, if I was going to kill myself, I'd do it a different way. I was just partying and having a good time. And then I think he was dead within a few months. He blew his head off.
Yeah, that was because wasn't it that thing in Italy and then unplugged and then the next April he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cleaned him up a little bit for Unplugged, and then did that, and then it was just a couple months later.
Dude, I
So
feel
it
like
was end of the
Frances
year.
Beans is about to come out with a fucking record or something, man. She's been. Have you
Is
did you
she?
follow her on Instagram?
No, dude.
Yeah, check her out, dude.
Okay.
She's beautiful. She looks just like a mix between the two of them. But
Really?
she's playing guitar and like singing and shit on there all the time, posting
Okay.
videos. It's not bad.
dad is one of the greats. He might have died
Definitely
at
better than her
27.
mom.
Yeah, and you know, I like some of Courtney Love's music. I always thought she was such a skanky chick, though.
Yeah.
Like, she never did it for me.
Nah,
as far
not
as
really.
looks or anything else. That whole junkie thing, I never really liked junkie in my women.
You know what I heard, dude? I heard that Kurt wrote that whole "Live Through This" album for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I've heard that for a long time. I think I heard that before he even killed himself.
Like somewhere, I'm pretty sure there's a tape or something of him playing all the songs. That's what I've heard.
Really? And then Billy Corgan wrote, I think, the album after that or something.
Yeah, the one with it sounds just like a Smashing Pumpkins song from back then.
Oh, yeah. And he's such a genius, too, man.
Yeah, I'm glad he's doing shit again, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins kind of got back together without Darcy.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Those guys, they made such powerful music. I mean, right when Gish came out, right about the same time as what was the Smells Like Teen Spirit album, whatever.
Oh, Nevermind, yeah.
Yeah, Nevermind came out, and I didn't catch on to Nirvana till Nevermind came out, and pretty good. But man, it was just such amazing music. And then where he took it with Melancholy and all those, just such an amazing artist.
Have you listened to the newest one though? I don't know.
I have not.
I don't know if I like it too much. It's not dark and as heavy as that older shit. You know what I mean?
I always like this dark shit, man.
Yeah,
I like
did
the
too.
touch of the depressed in Smashing Pumpkins. I didn't like the
all those
real
bands.
kind of hard go stuff. Oh yeah. Soundgarden, I like their really hard shit. I think I like that better than their Super Unknown. That was a great album, but dude, they're like Jesus Christ Pose and that really hard Seattle sound.
Yeah.
Before they were big. Oh my God, man. I went to Lollapalooza 2 in Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
And it was Chili Peppers were the headliner. It was Blood Sugar Sex Magic came out. Pearl Jam had just released 10. Soundgarden, I don't even think Super Unknown came out yet. They were the opening bands. Ministry, I think I'd heard of Ministry before, but dude, they came out and did Theives, and it changed my fucking life. I mean, it really did. Like every time I'd look up from the pit, it was Hurricane Andrew was destroying South Florida at the time. We were 300 miles north.
I was in Florida at that time. I lived there.
Oh, were you?
I lived in Fort Lauderdale when that happened. Yeah.
Oh shit! So you were down there in it, huh?
Yeah, I was like 10. That's
okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, there was bands coming up from that storm all day long and just dumping tons and tons of rain over the fairgrounds it was at. Ministry was about in the middle of the day. And once they came on, people from the mosh pit was so big going around, and they had been dumping, like, it was hot outside, so they were dumping 50-gallon garbage cans of water on people in the front rows, and then the bands of rain that were coming in. So there was parts of that pit that you would be like waist deep in mud.
Wow.
When you go through this one section. But dude, Ministry came out and did Theives, and every time I would look up from the pit, I would see a combat boot or a water bottle or a person or like 5 people flying by. Just insane. Fun times though, man. It was sort of a different era. I can't imagine a concert being anything like that anymore. It was still kind of chaos back then.
Yeah, right now. I don't know, man. Like there was a pit at the Ministry concert this time, but I don't know. I can't tell because I didn't go to. Didn't experience shows until like fucking 99 was my first concert.
Okay.
You know.
What was your first concert?
Well, at the time, it was great. I just didn't like the opener. It was Silverchair was headliner, and
they were good. They're that Australian band, right?
Yeah. They just came out with their third album, the Neon Ballroom album, and it was totally different than the first 2 records. I got to admit, but after that, seeing them live, I fucking fell in love with that third album. But the fucking band that opened for them, that kind of just like gave me a bad taste like for concerts at first was Lit. You know that fucking song?
Oh yeah,
Oh my god. They came out. I don't know. I feel like they just played that song for like a half hour.
that's
I
the
don't
one.
I don't even remember.
Can we forget about it?
Yeah. When I was drunk. Yeah. And now I hear it. I get tortured by it because I hear it like almost every time we do an open mic or something. Somebody's got to play that fucking song.
Oh, now you're putting it out there, so that's going to become your thing.
Nah. I fucking hope not. Fuck that, dude. But after that, like, I went to see Seven Dust and, like, Deftones and Incubus and all those bands that were kind of in their own, like, little group, you know? At that time.
That was awesome music, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Once... It was weird. Like, I didn't see any shit live. The only live shit I seen when I was young was, like, on TV with New Kids on the Block. Remember when they fucking did that live show back in, like, 89?
I am happy to say no, I
know
not.
you're probably... Dude, I went from New Kids on the Block to fucking MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice to the Black Album and Nevermind and Soundgarden. Like, it was a drastic, like, boom, you're going here instead of there.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude,
I still love all that
concert,
shit, though.
Oh yeah. My first concert was Kool and the Gang in like 1985.
Damn.
I was probably 10 or 11 years old. My babysitter, who was my mom's best friend's daughter, she was maybe 14 or 15 and had a boy 16. And like our parents gave us a ride up, and I think all our parents went and drank in a bar down the street and let the kids go to the show. But in Dothan, Alabama. It was a great show, man. I'd love to go see those guys. Now, Kool and the Gang were the shit in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I think my first real concert after that was Skid Row and Bon Jovi.
Oh.
And yeah, dude, it was fucking awesome. I'd never even heard of Skid Row before. It was that early. It was before all the big Skid Row hits came out. It was like a couple months before that. They were supporting Bon Jovi, and it was the pre-Young Guns Bon Jovi. You know, before Blaze of Glory and all that stuff. I think it was the Living on a Prayer album.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Maybe. It was a long time ago. It was
I remember
awesome
those
show,
days
man.
because my Aunt Marlene was one of the only ones in my family that would, like, introduce me to music and shit back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember her records. She had, like, Prince and, you know, all those, like, Def Leppard and all that kind of shit. Like, and they were definitely one of them. I can remember that shit vividly, just listening to it. So I wasn't there, but I was there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, Prince is somebody I never got to see. That guy was just so talented. He was the highest level of musicianship. Just such a talent, man.
Yeah, I can only dream to be that fucking... I never knew, like, until pretty close to the end, like, that he was so fucking great at guitar. Like...
Oh, dude, he was one of the best ever. I mean,
even
anytime
realize.
Rolling Stone, back in the 80s and 90s, you know, every year they come out with 100 best guitarists or something like that. He's always in the top 5, like, if not 2 or 3. He was, highest level of musicianship. Just when you hear the story about when Prince was discovered, he was this young 15, 16-year-old kid. Some record executive discovers him, takes him into the studio, and just lets him go, just lets him do his thing. And then he kept going, and the guy's like, well, I'm about to go home. He's like, can I stay here? And he stayed there for the night. When he came the next day, he had made like 2 or 3 albums or something. It was more than one album anyway. This kid made by himself in a studio the first time.
Yeah, he was like the Trent Reznor of the fucking pop scene.
Well, he was doing something that nobody, I mean, dude, he was bringing funk to white audiences and stuff that really weren't into it. I mean, it was definitely groundbreaking. I just saw, do you know that show? And I read about it about a year ago. Tales from the Tour Bus, Mike Judge on Cinemax. You got to check this out, dude. I don't know if you're into country or not. Growing up where I did, I hated country till I was about 25 or 26. And then I went back to it because I grew up. That's all you ever heard was Hank Williams and Johnny Cash in the background, which, knowing what I know now, I was very fortunate to grow up in an environment like that. And then, Florida and Leonard Skinner and all that in the 70s. So I hated that kind of shit. I was into the punk rock and the hip hop and all that as a kid, and then heavy metal. But it was, so they did, the first season was all the country stars. And then the second season that I just watched, they were going into the funk genre, and they just talk about these different musicians and the shit they went through. And they have all these animated kind of skits of the people telling their own thing. They did Bootsy Collins and George Clinton and all these guys. George Clinton probably had the best story. He was like, yeah, we went to this hotel and we were going to play later that night. And did you ever follow P-Funk very much?
No, not much. I know what they are, but I don't...
Yeah. They were like the LSD funk, and they lived that shit, dude. They lived it.
Check out their outfits. Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. They were the real deal. Well, they said they checked into the hotel, they all got dressed, and they all decided to eat acid. And it's like, well, then such and such came to us, and he's like, you guys got to play. And they're like, okay. So they go into play, and it always starts out that the band plays, and then George Clinton comes out. And it's like this big production. I've seen them a bunch of times, and it's always like just seeing one steady flow of music from it's a show. There isn't not much talking to the audience or any of that. They just go up and they play the songs, and they've got elaborate stage show and stuff like that. It's like, well, George Clinton comes out and he's just wearing a sheet, and he ain't got nothing on underneath it. And he gets on the tables and he starts dancing. And it's like the crowd's going crazy and getting into it. And he takes the sheet off, and we're looking at him like, did you just do that? And he's like, yeah. And the people are starting to back up from him, and he's just getting into it, and he's dancing on the table naked. It's like, and then somebody came in the room, turned the light on, and there was nobody in there but us. What the These guys. And then they had to actually go play the show. Like, they had just checked into the hotel, did a bunch of acid, and one of them wandered into like a little convention room or something they had with a stage, and these guys thought they were going out to play.
Wow.
Who knows what really happened, but it was a neat story. They did Morris Day was one of them, and the whole Purple Rain thing, and he talked about the intimate relationship they had with Prince and what it kind of became, and it was just kind of an interesting story. And then they talked, his untimely death, fucking fentanyl.
Yeah, man.
Got him.
It's getting everybody.
Him and Tom Petty.
I know, dude. And that's what I was going to say. I've recently watched that video of him. It was Prince jamming with Tom Petty and somebody else. And at the end of the fucking jam, it was like a live jam on stage. Prince just does this badass solo and then throws the guitar straight up in the air, right? And it doesn't come down. He just walks away.
Really? Huh.
It looked like the craziest fucking thing. I was like, what the fuck just happened? He just threw it up.
Whoa.
And then somebody must have caught it up there or something. I don't know. Maybe it was on a string.
It was part of it.
But,
dude, how awesome is that? Who else would think of doing something like that with Prince? Just throw the guitar up and not even try and catch it, just walk away.
Yeah, but that's another one of those fucking songs, Purple Rain, that gets played at fucking open mics and cover shows so much.
Does it?
Yeah.
They got an open mic here in town. I've never made it down. There's a bit of not comedy. We don't have any sort of comedy here in Moab, but there's an open mic night, and it's got all these crusty dirtbag kids that come in, and I've heard some of the shows are pretty good.
Yeah.
But
it's fun. It's hit or miss, but once in a while there's some fun times, and you get some good talent once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the time. Most of the time, there's more talent in there. Like, people are way more talented than I am every fucking time that we have one. But
oh, sure.
Especially little kids. It's crazy.
Yeah, I used to go to all kinds of open mic nights back in the day when I actually lived in a city. That was, dude, some very talented people coming through that. What is his name? Wayne Brady. I saw him at open mic nights down in Orlando. Mm-hmm. He was good friends. He actually worked at Universal with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and like a group of friends I had. They were all just working at Universal Studios as teenagers, and he worked there with them. And they said he was always a funny guy, but at work he was always very, very serious. But I went with him one night to see him at a open mic night. What was the name of that? I forget the
Whose
comedy.
line is it anyway? That show that he
Oh,
was
no,
on?
no, no. I don't think the club's there anymore. There was a comedy
Oh, the
club
club.
down on Church Street in Orlando that he performed at, that I actually went and saw him at an open mic night. And that's why we went, because they were going to see Wayne. But he wasn't Wayne Brady yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was another year or two out before he actually became the Wayne Brady of, well, it was Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's what made him really popular, right?
Yep. Shit's crazy.
I wish we had a little bit more culture here in Moab, where if I wanted to go see a show, I could, but I'll take the rocks.
Yeah, man. It's either the rocks or they just keep coming and you never see the rocks again.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want that to happen. So I want to keep staying on the trails so my knees don't work anymore. And hopefully they make stem cell treatment cheaper.
Yeah. Well, just keep on that keto, dude. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
I might have to join you soon.
Man, I hate to be another guy, and I hate going to restaurants now because I hate being that dude saying, hey, I'm keto. I'm like totally keto.
Totally
No
keto,
carbs.
man. No carbs,
Dude,
man.
it gets on my fucking nerves.
But you know what?
Here.
I love fucking dough. Like I love bread and fucking spaghetti, pizza.
I love all that shit, dude. I love all that stuff. But once you start getting up there, man, your body just doesn't process shit quite the same way.
I know.
And
Just
dude,
sticks in you like paste.
oh yeah, and and I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Old Guy. I still feel like a fucking teenager, just like everybody else in their 40s too. That's just what people do. But I can tell you, the jump from 37 to how I feel physically at 45 is so massive. Like if I just eat anything I want to, I hike literally almost 3,000 miles in 9 months that I kept up with, and just have a cheeseburger and some pizza here and eat anything I want. And I had a huge fucking gut. Now that I've just cut that shit out, my joints don't hurt anymore. I don't have a big old gut, and I just assume that that's just what it is to get older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. It really does. But I do hate being that keto nerd. Yeah, I'm keto. Make sure you don't put any bread on my plate.
Yeah, I can't even have it near my meat. Okay.
Yeah, I got a salad at this one kind of foodie restaurant over in, when you live in Moab, being a tourist town, you do your shopping over in Grand Junction, Colorado for multiple reasons. But that's where we go and do all the big grocery shopping and any kind of stuff you need to do at any other store. But we went to this one restaurant I liked a lot, and I was being good. They do these tempura fried artichoke carts that I just love. But you ain't getting that shit when you're on keto. And okay, we're going to be good. Well, they gave me a salad, and they brought me a deep fried tempura egg that was on it. And dude, I didn't want to give that fucking egg. Oh dude, I bet it was delicious. But I did. I gave up the egg. I said now if I go back and they put a deep fried egg on my plate, I'm fucking eating it.
Dude, I never even had a fucking deep fried tempura egg.
Neither have I.
Jesus.
No, they're a big foodie type place, and they do very, very chef driven. It's a really, really cool place. Ben 707 is the name. The owner and head chef was this skater kid. He's about my age. So you go in there and there's all this like skater memorabilia and old agnostic front posters from back in the day.
Yeah.
You look back on the line of the chefs and they're all just covered in tattoos and just these, all these big burly badass guys, but there's badass chefs, and they kick out some really, really creative dishes. And I'm sure somebody else had done it before, but really these guys, they're just so talented. They put these flavor profiles together, and a tempura fried boiled egg, man.
Fuck it. Put it on the fucking salad. Let's get it done. Dude, tempura is so delicious too. Oh my god.
Oh man, tempura fried asparagus and all that shit. Dude, the tempura artichoke hearts they have at this place with like a tangy aioli sauce. The first time we got one, I ordered 2 more, one for me and one for my wife, because I didn't share the first one with her. I'm like, I ain't, don't even give her one, give me one.
Yeah. Oh, dude, man. All this talk about food, and I gotta go up and eat my second dinner.
Oh, second dinner. That doesn't sound. Yeah, go ahead and go for it, man, and give yourself that. If you're waiting for the elliptical to get in the house,
Yeah.
go ahead and give yourself some cheat days, man, because it takes a little while to get started. I dreamed of eating, like, I remember having a dream when we first went keto for about 2 weeks that I got a loaf of bread and I was just balling the slices of bread up and eating them. I was dreaming about this shit now.
Dude, I used to
Waking
do
up.
that. Oh, for real, I used to do that for
Oh yeah,
real.
yeah. So did I. I mean, dude, I poured sugar on bread, eating it before when I was a little kid, but I grew up poor and all that.
Dude,
That's
yeah, you
another
fucking
story.
take a piece of bread, toast it, put butter, cinnamon, sugar on
Hell
that
yeah.
shit. Hell yeah. I
And if
did
you
that
ain't
so
got
many
time,
times.
yeah, just make you a sugar sandwich. I did that a bunch too. But yeah, but I was literally having dreams about balling up bread and eating it. Or the next night, I might dream about ice cream. I was dreaming about carbs. It's
That's
how
funny.
deep it was in my head.
Well, we'll see. I'll let you know how if and when I start and how it goes. But
Oh yeah, well, if you take the jump and if you just give yourself a month, man, that you're going to be serious. Like, God damn it, you're going to work out. You're going to stay strict on your diet and see how you feel after 30 days. Because what happened with me, I was just doing it to support my wife, thinking that, okay, we won't have any of that shit in the house. I'll give it a try. I'll see about the cognitive effects and all that. And then I'm going to do it for this long. And then after that, I'll do whatever I want, and I actually enjoyed it and it felt good. And my joints stopped hurting every day. And and you feel so much better that you get into it. Now, man, 8 months into it, I'll have a cheat day. Like, why did I fucking do that to myself, man? You just feel so, just gross
yeah, well, that's a
after
good
you do
thing
it.
now. I mean, it's like your body's self-defense, letting you know you just put some fucking shit inside you.
It's scary though, man, because we all came up eating that way, and
I
you don't
know.
even realize it that you stay in the state of feeling bad
Yeah.
all the time. And I hate to be the guy saying this stuff because I used to hate listening to people say that shit. Like, yeah, whatever, man. But it's really true. And like the clarity you get from keto and the bulletproof coffee. And I do another thing where I take like organic butter and mix that with a bone broth and drink it kind of like I mean, it's not the best tasting thing in the world,
Hmm.
but man, 20 minutes after you drink that shit, you get so much in it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's,
Wow.
yeah, and it's not, it's like drinking 4 or 5 Red Bulls, but you don't have that kind of chemically sugar buzz that you just crash. Man, it really does work, but it does take a while to switch your body over.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
I think she wants to probably start it soon, so we shall take it slowly. I know when I get the elliptical, I'm gonna have to do like 10-minute sessions at a time until
Oh,
I
yeah.
can work myself back up to it, man. I'm not like, I'm just out of shape, dude. I just,
Well, that's just how it goes.
I need to start
When
stretching
you're,
first too.
oh yeah, we'll do all that stuff, man, and just start out light, dude. Don't go to a gym. You got it in your house. Buy you a couple kettlebells and just light stuff, and just sit and watch TV and do it. That's what worked for me.
Oh yeah.
And now, man, I'll eat some cordyceps mushrooms. Give myself about 30 more. We got 5 acres here. 5 acres, one lap around is a perfect quarter mile, and I've got 3 dogs. So, and we're in the off season now, so I spend most of my time outside even when I'm not working, staying out there walking and stuff like that. But yeah, take some cordyceps mushrooms and then have a workout section. Come inside with the dogs, get them all good and tired, and just throw a series on or something like that,
Yeah.
and just work out for 2.5 hours and feel great, dude,
Yeah.
and look forward to doing it. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, God damn, I got to get on this machine.
Yeah,
Got
but
to
I
do
kind
this
of
shit that's gonna
that kind of
hurt.
makes me look forward to it a little bit. I know the elliptical machine we have has a little spot for a stand for your iPad, so I'll be able to catch up on some shows and shit that I haven't been
Yeah.
able to. But
Yeah, and another thing we also do is that intermittent fasting, man. That is a
yeah,
big thing too. Yeah, it's kind of tough the first couple days, but it's really not that hard for me. Not anything. If I eat at about 8 o'clock, I won't eat anything. And when I wake up, dude, I never feel like eating until the afternoon. Like I'm the perfect guy never to eat breakfast and shit like
oh
that.
yeah, I barely do. Like I've kind of forced myself to have like a banana and a fucking I usually just drink coffee and water in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's literally about all I have.
And I don't even know,
Vape and
like, is
weed.
the fasting thing, are you supposed to be drinking anything?
Well, water, and you can have coffee. I
Yeah.
put, I've got heavy cream and butter in my coffee, so maybe it's not a full thing, but I mean, I still have that.
Yeah.
And with keto, once you start burning the fat, you feel so much. I mean, it's kind of a different sort of, like, I'd never felt energy from caffeine and fat like that before. It's kind of a clean type energy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't
Well,
wait.
but yeah, that, and then noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. We'll grab something to eat.
Oh, man. Well, dude, thank you so much, man. This has been a
Oh
fucking
yeah, thanks for
wonderful
having me
time.
on.
We just did 2 hours and 15. Whew.
Oh wow, that quick, man.
Yeah. These things
Yeah,
go
well, I
by
hope
so
people like
fast,
this.
you know?
Oh yeah, but yeah, let's definitely, man, keep it going through 2019, dude. We'll have some more stuff coming out, so maybe there'll be some things you can pitch. And anybody hearing this, if you want a sticker, let us know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Go to moabhiking.com.
There you go. And it's not just Westworld. They've literally filmed hundreds and hundreds of movies here.
I know. That's just one of my favorite references, though.
Hey, that was the one I starred in, though.
Yeah,
If
it
you
is
saw the first season, you saw about 1/10 of a second of my knee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, season 8 or episode 8. Dolores and the young man in black. They just killed all the Confederado soldiers laying by the river. That my knee is one of those knees.
No shit. You were an extra?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now I
Yeah.
have something else to talk about. Fuck.
Yeah, there you go. I thought I told you.
I don't know if you told me that. I remember I made that little picture of you as the thing. Remember?
Yeah.
But,
And I still got that. But yeah, they're actually in town filming now, so there is going to be a season 3.
Yes. Thank goodness. I love that fucking show, man. I that's one I got to go catch up on. I got to rewatch fucking season 2 because I started watching it and I was like,
It got so weird.
whoa, yeah. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I needed to watch the episode like 2 or 3 times, and I just didn't
It's
have time.
fucking sci-fi. My wife and I she watched the whole thing. I came in like the end of it, the original Westworld, and I can see that was really sci-fi'd out. Like they really clung to the Western thing in the first season, but season 2, it's still good. It's a great show, but it's fucking sci-fi.
Yeah. Well, that's something that will be watched by me very soon.
Very good. Hopefully from an elliptical machine.
Yes, I'm going. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Dude, thank you very
cool.
much, and thank you for being my one and only sponsor.
Absolutely.
You are the
so
shit, my
far,
brother.
and anybody else listening to this, you guys definitely need to come to Mike while he's still cheap.
Yes,
I
well,
know
I'm
it's
still
not going to be
cheap.
cheap forever. Well, very good, man. We'll be getting started with our season again, dude. And thank you so much for taking on a little niche guy as your sponsor. I really appreciate that as well.
Dude, I think you're fucking awesome, and I hope that even though I feel like you're encouraging me, I hope that I encourage you a little bit to keep doing what you're
absolutely.
fucking doing, dude, because it is something that you love doing, and
Oh, yeah.
those are
Well,
the hardest
way I
things to
kinda-
keep going sometimes, you know?
Yeah, and the way I kind of see it, man, is we're both guys that are out there doing what we love to do. And, I made the decision to, like, wow, I love hiking. I'm at almost 40 years old. I'm going to become a professional guide. I didn't do it for the money. And just like I know you've seen some stuff handling Joey Diaz and doing all the posters and stuff. But your podcast is a labor of love, man. You ain't
Yeah.
making no money on that. And, the hiking's not any different, dude. We're making a little bit of money now, but for the most part, I do that, and I'll be doing it whether I'm broke or not. So two guys that got a passion for doing something, just understand each other in that. Whether it couldn't be more completely different, but at the same time, it's just two guys with a passion for something that get excited about, and it gives you a reason to be alive, man. I think that's something everybody needs.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it's a pleasure to fucking know you, dude. So.
Absolutely, man. And we will do this again. Just let me know.
Hell yeah. And if I make it out west this year with them dudes, I'll let you know when, and maybe you can take a hike out to LA for the first time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd definitely be somebody I know out there, at least from phone calls and online, because I'm going to be a scared sucker. You can get me as deep in this desert as you want, but you get me in a big city and I'm a fucking pussy.
Well, I'll be there with you, dude. I don't know anything over there, man. Jesus. And
Yeah,
that's how I
hear
am
you,
too,
man.
dude. I get like anxious taking a cab in a city, you know, or like an Uber. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, that's a great thing about LA is I think they're probably even more so than Denver as far as getting the medicine for you.
Yeah. So we'll be chilling either way.
Very cool, man.
All
Well,
right, my
sounds
brother.
good, brother. Just let me know what I can do to help in the future, and we'll get it done.
Awesome, brother. Thank you very much. I'll hit you up before this comes out and let you know. But either way, have a great fucking New Year, man. And
Yeah, you too, man.
I'll
And
see
here's
you
to
in 2019. Yes.
You know it, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.